ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
What is up, Madison? I'm Hunter Vaughn. Your Sports Center update is brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, home of smoke-free slots and the highest payout percentage in the area. Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, more spins, more wins, more fun. It's a huge weekend of basketball in the Madison area, as tonight we'll have a boys regional semifinal on Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania. The 11-seed Madison West Regents travel to the 6-seed Oregon Panthers. You can join Riley Yauk and the Dean Dennis Summerow starting at 6:45. Tip-off at 7 p.m. right here on 100.5 ESPN and streaming for free on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Then it's a doubleheader on Saturday. At 1 p.m., a trip to state is on the line. The Milton Redhawks take on the Elkhorn Elks in a girls' sectional final. Again, that game streaming for free on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. And then finishing up the Saturday high school basketball slate, it'll be a 7 p.m. tip-off in a boys' regional final. Madison West or Oregon will take on the winner of Verona and Sun Prairie West. Again, all games streaming free on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com. Three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde.
There aren't any Jasons 12 and under. That's a dead name.
Packers Hall of Famer, Mark Tauscher.
How many kids do you hear, hey, Marky, it might be as almost to the point of Ruth?
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio.
You love that name so much, you don't even go by it.
On 100.5 ESPN.
If you call me Mark, I like my name. I like my name a lot.
The ESPN Wisconsin app.
Wilde and Tausch.
And ESPN Madison on YouTube.
It's Wilde and Tausch, isn't it?
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
It is the Friday edition. Another Friday that Jason took off? What's going on around here?
Channel 3000's working him too hard.
I think you learned a thing or two from us.
What are you talking about us? I don't think I've taken
high five,
I don't
buddy.
think I've taken a day off this year. I will be taking days off, but not so far.
I know there's some plans coming up on that front to change things up. Wilde and Tausch, Jesse and Tausch today on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, the ESPN Wisconsin app, Apple, Spotify, and of course live video streaming on the Wilde and Tausch Twitter feed, the Wilde and Tausch Facebook page, and on the ESPN Madison and ESPN Milwaukee YouTube channels. Normally, Jason Wilde, three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, is in this chair hosting the show. Planned day off, another gymnastics meet. I'm starting to think gymnastics is kind of like golf, where the kids only sign up so that they get to go to meets and miss
gymnastics
school.
is too hard to do. You can't be like golf. You can go out there and slap it around and just miss school. Gymnastics is hard. So no, I understand where you're coming from, but no.
You mean hard like scheduling hard?
No,
or
it's
just
like you can't
demand.
You, me, and Hunter can't go out there and just like start flipping on balance beams. We can go out there and hack around.
Well,
golf.
I know that. I mean, look at us.
So I'm saying you're not like the average person that just wants to miss school isn't going to say, "Well, let me sign up for gymnastics because I can miss a Friday." They will do that for golf.
Wilde and Tausch. Jason's gone for another gymnastics tournament today, so he will be back on Monday. This is the third out of 4 Fridays where he has been missing the show.
A lot of time
for gymnastics.
You thinking about pipping him?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Based on how our fans typically feel when I slide over to this chair, I don't think anyone has to worry about any of that. We will hear from Jason coming up, though, in a moment here. Hunter Vaughn is our cousin sub of the day producing the show. Cousin subs, we believe in better. Good morning, Hunter. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Super excited for this time of the year. This is like my Super Bowl time of the year for high school basketball, so I'm pumped.
Hunter and I were hanging out at Oregon High School last night. Big high school girls basketball sectional semifinal. Milton, Riley Yauk's alma mater. Big upset.
Is Riley a Milton guy?
Yeah, and big upset
great.
win over Edgewood last night to advance to the sectional final on Saturday. Girls and boys basketball, state bowling going on, start today up in Wausau, all kinds of fun stuff. High school sports, maybe the most action-packed weekend of the entire year. Speaking of Riley Yauk, he's going to join us as a special guest on the Yingling Hotline a little bit later in the show. Why? Badger Pro Day going on today over outside of Camp Randall Stadium. So that's exciting. Badger Pro, why aren't you over there?
I'm doing the show. What am I going to do over there? What am I going to get a stopwatch out and
generally
fly?
mingle with all the people? Yeah, get a little watch.
Yeah, I'll stopwatch it. No, had it not fallen right between the show, I probably would have stopped over there for an hour or so. But I'll like to hear Riley. Riley's got probably more enthusiasm about that. I think it'll be great for Riley to give us that report rather than me standing there and giving you a 5-minute report. I figure I'd just come in and work.
All right, fair enough. Riley Yauk set to join us from Badger Pro Day. Dom Catronio covers the Brewers, hosts Brewers Extra Innings on 620 WTMJ, the Brewers Network flagship. He's at spring training in Arizona. He's also scheduled to appear coming up later in the show, too. So a lot to get to on today's show. And, of course, we're going to begin with the big Packers news of the last 24 hours. And it is the unfortunate passing of former Packers president and CEO Bob Harlan. Passing away yesterday at the age of 89, had been hospitalized battling pneumonia, according to the official report that had come out yesterday upon his passing. Outpouring of support from the Packers community everywhere. Roger Goodell, NFL teams, Packers legends, current Packers voices, everybody weighing in on the legacy of Bob Harlan, former Packers president and CEO, one of the most transformative, one of the most important people in Green Bay Packers franchise history. Tausch, what more can you say about the legacy of Bob Harlan?
I think, when Lou Holtz passed and we discussed him yesterday a little bit, you heard the word significant. Like, I think everybody wants to be beloved and, to have an impact. Bob Harlan lived a significant life, too. And, I was very fortunate to, have a relationship with Bob. We went on different community events. We did a tailgate tour back, I think, in like 2006, right as kind of his tenure was winding down. And, the thing that I always just admired about him was he would sit and he would have discussions. He wasn't a yapper. He was somebody that always wanted to listen, understand, and then he wanted to solve problems. And, he took over the Green Bay Packers when they were a hot mess. It was an organization that was moribund, nothing going right, I don't know financially, but just when you start looking at everything that happened. And, the reason we're discussing and honoring is because that impact that the Green Bay Packers have on our state, on the National Football League. Bob Harlan changed the complete dynamic and the direction of this franchise. He said this needs to be a crown jewel. When he took it over and where he left it, this puppy was shining. And all along the way, he obviously, his biggest accomplishment, I'd say, besides turning the football team around, which was huge, was that referendum and getting that done. And that was right as I was, I think it was my second year. And he would tell you a little bit about what was going on, but then what he did, which I thought was, he went door to door, old school, politics side, and just went and listened and persuaded and had the discussion of why it was important to the state, why it was important to the city to get this done. So all along the way, he was it was a fun guy too. When you did get to go out in some social settings, he always was looking for fun, trying to have as much interaction with fans that he possibly could. And I'm sure we've heard all the stories already about the phone, him answering his own phone. Bob is a people guy. And I think that's what this team has always been built on, is the community. And there's no greater steward of that than Bob Harlan.
844-770-3776 is the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. If you are someone whose life has been impacted one way or another by the legacy of Bob Harlan.
Or a great interaction with Bob.
Yeah. My father-in-law told a story about he's a season ticket holder. He would call, and he had the opportunity to talk to Bob Harlan. We've seen the outpouring of support, and so we want to open up the conversation for you to be able to share your personal Bob Harlan stories with us today. So we'll do that throughout the course of today's show. If you have a Bob Harlan story that you want to share with us, 844-770-3776 is the Carbliss ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. That's 844-770-3776, honoring the legacy of Bob Harlan throughout the day today here on Wilde and Tausch. It's Jesse and Tausch today. Jason Wilde has the day off today. This was pre-planned for him to have the day off, but given the news yesterday, he did have the opportunity to share a message for, he has this other gig at channel3000.com where he's writing articles all the time and appearing on the newscasts and all that fun stuff. Apparently, he's creating digital content for them now, too.
He's doing a hell of a job for them.
And this was awesome. So I wanted to make sure we played this. So this is Jason's message yesterday with channel3000.com honoring the legacy of Bob Harlan.
This is almost certainly the worst-selling book about the Green Bay Packers in literary history. I should know, I wrote half of it. But I did do one thing right back in 2020 when it came out. I asked retired Packers team president and CEO Bob Harlan to write the foreword. And so the first words in that book are these. In a lot of ways, this book is a testament to Brett Favre, Ron Wolf, and Mike Holmgren, and the marvelous job they did in resurrecting a franchise that had been so dormant and been in such terrible shape for so long. Bob Harlan wrote those words, and he meant every one of them. But in typical Bob Harlan fashion, they were giving credit to others. But make no mistake, the Green Bay Packers as we know them now would not be what they are if not for Bob Harlan. Bob Harlan died today at age 89 at St. Mary's Hospital here in Green Bay, surrounded by his family, including his wife of nearly 67 years, Madeline. And when you look at this storied franchise and you think of the names with which you are so familiar, Favre, Rodgers, Starr, Holmgren, Lombardi, Lambeau, make sure you remember Bob Harlan as well. Because Bob Harlan hired Ron Wolf in 1991, and before that, the Green Bay Packers had 4 winning seasons over the previous 24 years and been to the playoffs only twice. After that, they won 2 Super Bowls and have been a perennial contender every single year. That was because of Bob Harlan. That is the difference he made in terms of allowing the football people to make football decisions. He liked to say that he always believed he hired the right people and then got out of their way. He did not get out of the way back in 2000, though, when the Green Bay Packers were struggling financially and needed Lambeau Field, their iconic stadium, to be redeveloped. He fought hard to get a resolution passed. The referendum only went 53-47 in favor of the Packers, and it nearly didn't pass. Bob Harlan made sure it did. So remember what Bob Harlan did for this franchise. And remember that the joy that you get from this team can be traced in part to the things he did to make that happen. We've got more about Bob Harlan's passing on our website, channel3000.com. We'll have full coverage of the football aspects as well all week long.
Jason Wilde's message from channel3000.com. Very
like
well
Andy
said.
Rooney there, kind of. Yeah, it was a very, I think...
If Andy Rooney would be the comp there.
No, it's like it felt like a 60 Minutes piece.
Sure, yeah.
I think Jason encapsulated that really well. The idea of Bob Harlan, selfless, not a carnival barker, not yelling from the top. It was always about the organization and the community and the fans. All of the other stuff, figuring out who should run the franchise. And I think one of the big things when Mark Murphy took that back over, the way he did, the reason it was so roundly criticized was because I think Bob Harlan, and Jason just mentioned it, hire those folks and let them go to work. and he got it right with Ron Wolf. Obviously, then that transpired with Reggie and with Brett and with everybody else and the success that we've had. Bob had a vision on how he needed to do it. He worked his tail off. That referendum that passed, he put, I can't even imagine the amount of hours that he went door to door and put in to get done what he did. I do think every Packer fan, and there's no doubt that Packer fans are, greatly indebted to Bob Harlan and his family, because he's a wonderful human being and he did a wonderful job in stewarding this Packers organization to where it is today.
844-770-3776. That's your way into the show to share your personal stories and interactions with the great Bob Harlan, passing away yesterday at the age of 89. 844-770-3776. Today's the day we want to hear him. So we want to hear from you. Coming up next, you can text us, you can call us, you can, of course, chime in the YouTube comments, on the Wilde and Tausch Twitter feed and Facebook page. We'd love to hear your stories of your interactions with Bob Harlan, so active in the community, so active with Packers fans. We'll talk about his legacy. We'll talk about his style of leadership and how it still translates to the Green Bay Packers today, along with your stories. That's all straight ahead. But first, Tausch, let's talk about Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Yeah, our homes need to be ready for just about anything in Wisconsin year-round. That's why Pella focuses on quality and durability in everything that they do. The right windows, doors, they vastly improve your home's comfort, efficiency, and overall styling. With Pella, you will get expert recommendations designed around your home, your needs, and within your budget. Don't miss out on 0% financing all the way up till 2032. That offer ends on the 31st of March. Visit PellaWI.com today to learn more.
Honoring the legacy of Bob Harlan, passing away yesterday at the age of 89. Former Packers president and CEO will continue to do that next on Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Everyone plays like a champion at TPC Wisconsin. Our friendly community shares one thing: a passion for world-class golf. Women, men, and youth golfers all love the course. The $25 million upgrade is impeccable, and the list of amenities is more than impressive. But belonging where the shared pursuit of excellence is a daily practice and not just a tagline? That might be the best part. Join today and pay no dues until April 1st. Discover belonging. TPCWisconsin.com.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
Sure, you've got school spirit, but does your jewelry box?
At Chalmers Jewelers, we're proud to be an official retailer of University of Wisconsin jewelry.
Featuring the iconic Motion W, Bucky Badger, and more.
Prices start at just $65.
Whether you're tailgating, jumping around, or shouting on Wisconsin, let your jewelry join the celebration because even Bucky loves a little bling.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison. Buying a new vehicle should be exciting, and that's what Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb aims to do. That's why they vow to give you the better buying experience. Jim Rutledge here. I've had 3 better buying experiences at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb, and I keep on going back because the experience and the Chevy is fantastic. So if you're looking for a buying experience you're going to want to repeat anytime you need a new or new-to-you vehicle, I recommend you make the short drive out to Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb, because you're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
Mark Tauscher here, and if you know me, you know I love Wisconsin. That's why I'm a UW Credit Union member. Their team's been all about Wisconsin since 1931, and they love making banking easy for members. whether it's with their convenient mobile app or with the great perks like early payday to get you paid sooner. Stop by any of their local branches or visit uwcu.org to join and become a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're looking for something fun to do this spring, come join us Saturday, May 16th for Mark Osiki's 8th annual Casting for Kids Fishing Tournament to benefit the American Family Children's Hospital and UW Carbone Cancer Center. We've raised $1 million for the kids so far. The event is a blast. We fish the Madison chain of lakes before live and silent auctions at the Alliant Energy Center. All kinds of sports memorabilia, guided trips, and a chance to win an Alumacraft fishing boat. So come join us on May 16th. Sign up today at castingforkids.org.
I worried that I couldn't work a full-time job and still have time for college. But I'm so glad I didn't let that stop me. At Madison College, I found my stride. My classes are flexible and hands-on, and I walk on campus feeling inspired. My advice to others? Make your dreams a reality. There's more to your story at Madison College.
Visit madisoncollege.edu to get started.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Wilde and Tausch back with you. Jesse and Tausch today. Jason Wilde has the day off. He will return to the show on Monday. 844-770-3776. We are honoring the legacy of Bob Harlan, former Packers president and CEO. Began his term as Packers president in 1989, and he was there until he retired in 2008.
Not a coincidence that that's when things started turning.
And interesting perspective, obviously, from Jason as he shared his message, as we heard in our opening segment from channel3000.com. You were a player during almost the entire tenure of Bob, or I should say for your entire tenure as a Green Bay Packer, almost entirely Bob Harlan was there.
A lot of it, yep.
President and CEO. So we'll hear some more of your perspective as well from his leadership. But we also want to hear stories from our fans at 844-770-3776. Let's begin with Sparky in Sussex. Sparky, thank you for making the call today. 844-770-3776. Stories of your personal interactions with former Packers president and CEO Bob Harlan. Sparky, go ahead.
Oh, good morning, guys. Hey, actually, it's Mrs. Sparky's story. Shortly after we got married, we moved up to Green Bay in '88, and my wife put us in for tickets. And she worked at the bank where, at that time, the Packers did their banking. And it was either 89 or 90, I think Bob Harlan came in. So she asked them, she said, Mr. Harlan, do you think I'll ever see season tickets? We're like 11,000 on the list. And he said, well, you look pretty young. You know, I think you will. And lo and behold, 31 years later, we finally got the tickets. And at our first game, she made a sign and took to our first game and said, Mr. Harlan, do I still look young enough? And,
that's awesome. That's a great story, Spark.
And I just think back that, you know, what is it now, 150,000 on the waiting list?
Yeah, I think that sounds right. You'd have to be very young to be on that list now.
There's a reason they're signing you up when you're born, yeah. Sparky,
he's
thanks.
Still young and beautiful.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it,
that
man.
Yule log's still burning, no doubt. Thanks, Sparky.
844-770-3776. Continuing to take your calls, your stories of the great Bob Harlan passing away yesterday at the age of 89. Let's go to Mark next. Mark. Hey, someone else named Mark.
Yeah, I'm going to introduce Mark because this is Mark Schiefelbein worked for the Green Bay Packers for a long time. I just saw him at the Badger game a couple of days ago. He's a good friend and worked very closely with Bob Harlan, especially throughout the referendum period. So, Mark, really appreciate you joining us to tell us a little bit about Bob Harlan, because the flowers, everything that you've heard over the last 15 hours or so, I'm sure are not a surprise to you.
No, and first of all, Jesse and Tausch, thanks for having me on. And Tausch, you and I, when we texted last night about coming on today, we said we lost a great man yesterday. And when I hear all the tributes, I read them yesterday and then this morning, and listening to all of them, all the adjectives to describe Bob are just so accurate. And, when you think about the tributes from, Ron Wolf and Mike Holmgren and Mike McCarthy and the commissioner, Bob would be so proud of that. He would be equally as proud as all those memories from the fans as well. He was such as you guys know, such a kind and humble man, and he was genuine and authentic, as Jason Wilde said earlier, and he did things with class and dignity. And, his legacy will be the resurrection of this franchise, both on the field and off of it. And I remember listening, Tausch, as I've told you, I listen to Wilde and Tausch fairly often. This was about a month ago. You guys were talking about the structure of the Packers, and one of the questions was, who gives up power? And first thing that came to mind was Bob Harlan gives up power. He did that in 1991, when he hired Ron Wolf. And when you think about it since then, it's been well documented. I think it's the Packers in New England that have had the best record since then, and that was 35 years ago. So his legacy, obviously on the field, but off the field with what he did with the stadium and the referendum is the words transformational has been thrown around. It's all of those adjectives, but he was just such a good man.
There is no doubt about that. And, giving up the power to Ron Wolf obviously was a huge part, but we heard Jason talking about that. That's just how Bob Harlan looked at it, right? He wasn't always the expert in the room, but what he was great at was listening, right? He wasn't always, he would sit back, listen. He would make tough decisions when they had to be made. But can you just kind of go through, because you worked with him very closely for a long time, what was it like, and when he would get mad? Can you kind of just give us an inside peek into working with Bob Harlan?
Sure. I don't ever recall him being mad. You'd be disappointed maybe, or after a loss. But he was what you saw is what you got. I think you explained it well, Tausch. He was a great listener. And keep in mind, when this was, 30-some years ago, and when you would call him, I'll give you an example. If you called him and had to talk to him about something, you'd call from your office, and, Bob, do you have a second? He'd say, yeah, I'll come down to your office. He'd come down and sit in your office. Or if you went up, his door was always open. If you went up and knocked on the door, it could be anybody. It could be Ron Wolf, Mike Holmgren, Ted Thompson, didn't matter. Part-timer, he'd say, come on in. He'd get up from his desk, walk around and sit in one of the two chairs in front of his desk, so he would be sitting right beside you. When you would introduce him to your family or friends, he would say that we work together. He never said that these guys work for me. Just everything he did. And to your point about the referendum, I saw firsthand, he literally passed that referendum with his goodwill, and that he had built up over the years. And it wouldn't have passed without it. And I know that took a lot out of him. And it's, Jason mentioned it earlier too, going door to door. He'd get up at 4 a.m. and go down when the factories are changing shifts and shake hands. He'd go to the restaurants and did TV interviews. And he was such a kind person, and he truly cared about the fans. I remember after the Carolina championship game in 1996, Bob was being interviewed in the locker room, and halfway through the interview, he broke down and cried. And he felt bad about crying. He usually didn't show emotion like that. And he told me later he wasn't necessarily crying because he was happy for himself. He was so happy for the fans. And he said, I never saw so much joy as I saw in the stadium that day. And I thought, for all the very well publicized things that Bob has done, his respect and care for the fans was unmatched. And I was thinking, guys, when you talk about a beloved man, and all the Packers staff loved him, the players did, as you know, Tausch, the coaches did, the fans did, and so did the media. And I got texts from different media people in the last 24 hours, and I don't know if there's an executive or a CEO that is beloved by that many different factions in the sports world. It's truly remarkable.
So, Mark, that's totally accurate. I think everybody would agree with that. How do you do it? Because this is not like you're handing out popsicles everywhere. There's tough decisions. This is not you're running one of the 32 NFL organizations. How do you pull this off that he is beloved by everybody?
I think first of all, he was just himself. And he wasn't trying to sell anything. He was not a salesman. He was just himself. I think, his son Brian said in an article, I think that Tom Silverstein at Spoon did that, his dad was there since 1971. He saw the things that worked and didn't work, and he thought, okay, if I'm ever the president, I'm going to do things this way. And I think he's always been just a great people person that has, cared about every employee, whether it was, again, anybody in football, a player, a part-timer, and he was just himself, and he loved this franchise, and he loved the fans, and he never changed. He never changed in all the time. I first met him in 1989, and he never changed. He was always the same person, even on the tailgate tour. And Tausch, you remember were on there. We used to. I remember the year Aaron went, which I think was the year that Aaron Rodgers, which was the year you went. Yep. And we used to sit there and we'd watch Bob. The players were always center stage. He did not want to be center stage. He'd stand off to the side at these functions, and invariably there'd be a line of fans coming up to him, shaking his hand, wanting a picture, an autograph, and he loved doing that. And I remember Aaron saying to me, he goes, when I get older, I want to be like Bob Harlan. I think we all did, just to see his interactions, and you could tell it was just so genuine and authentic. And I think he obviously, his parents did a great job of bringing him up, because that's just the way he was through everything, through his entire tenure.
Oh, there is no doubt. That tailgate tour brings a lot of smiles. And when, I heard the news yesterday about Bob, that was one of the first things I thought, because, man, he loved having fun, and he loved having those conversations with fans, and then he could bring that back. And can you believe what Shirley from Chippewa Falls, she thinks we should do this? And he would listen, and he'd still have a ton of fun with it. And then my other thing was, he loved pie. I was able to talk him into go get a pie down in that pie corridor, and I know you remember that, Chief. Right. Well, he stopped up.
That's right.
It was, man, I cannot thank you enough for joining us. Is there any other things or any other stories you have? Because you, I think, illustrated Bob Harlan's life in a really great way.
The only thing I would add just to the tailgate tour was that if you remember, after the nightly charitable event, we would go back to the hotel, and then we'd all go downstairs to the hotel bar. And so it was you and Aaron, I think it was Rob Davis, and it was like Aaron Poppy, Doug Collins, and even Bob invited the bus driver over, and Kathy Dorick, of course, and we'd sit around and look through the pictures and just laugh and tell stories. And I'm thinking, this is a CEO of the franchise here, sitting here amongst us like we're all equals. And I just think that really sums up Bob and how he conducted himself. And like I said, he was a great man, and his legacy is the resurrection of this franchise.
No doubt. And it's because he didn't feel like he was above anybody else, and you felt that.
No.
And that is a special
exactly.
quality to have.
Every fan, it is, Tausch, and that's a good point. He never made you feel inferior. And Mike Reinfeldt said it, Mike McCarthy did. He let you do your job. He hired you, and then he let you do your job. He was always there. He was always available if you wanted to bounce something off of him, but he never micromanaged. And he was just a great man. There's not enough adjectives really to describe him.
Well, you did a great job, Chief. Really appreciate you giving us and our fans your perspective, because you were right there with him as that referendum was going in the back end of his tenure in Green Bay. So thank you again, Chief. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Mark. Really appreciate the insights. Working alongside the great Bob Harlan for all those years. Those are the stories that we're here for today. That's awesome. So, Mark, I guess 2 marks, because you as well telling the stories from the tailgate tour or whatever. That was so good. So we're excited to hear some more of those stories celebrating the life and legacy of Bob Harlan. I've got more texts rolling in here on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin Talking text line that we can get to coming up next at 844-770-3776. There are NFL news and notes that we will get to throughout the remainder of the show as well. So still a lot ahead, but we want to make sure that we dedicate all the time that we can to celebrating the life and legacy of Bob Harlan throughout today's show on Wilde and Tausch. Jason, again, will return on Monday. If you missed his message, you can find it on the Wilde and Tausch Twitter feed and at channel3000.com, celebrating Bob Harlan's life. Tausch, without Jason here, you get the opportunity to tell us today about Steinhoffels.
Well, let me ask you something. I don't know if this is a question or not, but you spend more than 2,500 hours on your mattress. Well, why are you sleeping on something that's just okay? Well, it's Mattress Madness at Steinhoffels, and this is when you upgrade. They'll help you find the mattress that actually fits you, so you wake up rested and ready, not reaching for the snooze button 3 times. All the best brands, unbeatable prices, free delivery, and a 120-night sleep guarantee. That's a win, win, win. Mattress Madness is happening now. Shop in store at steinhoffels.com.
More of your calls and your texts of your personal stories and interactions with the great Bob Harlan, passing away yesterday at age 89. Former Packers president and CEO. We'll continue with those coming up next on Wilde and Tausch.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Mark Tauscher here, and it's another Feel Good Friday on Wilde and Tausch. And coming up to close out today's show, we'll share some of our favorite feel-good stories of the week, painted by Holman Lindsay Paints. When you're ready to get started on your next paint project at home, I recommend you do what my family did and trust the pro painters at Holman Lindsay to get the job done right. To get connected with the perfect pro painter for what your project calls for, just stop into any Madison area Holman Lindsay location and ask. The team at Holman Lindsay will help find the best pro for the job. From winter snowstorms to the hottest heat in July, Holman Lindsay is the one paint you can trust to withstand the challenges of Wisconsin's weather year-round. That's what makes it Wisconsin's best paint. Holman Lindsay, great paint, great people. Check them out at holmanlindsay.com. And stick around for Feel Good Friday, coming up to close out today's show, painted by Holman Lindsay Paints.
It's March. It's Madison. It's the road to a gold ball at the Kohl Center on Zimbrick Honda's championship presentation of the WIAA State Boys Basketball Tournament.
The lob and the finish for Donovan Davis. Welcome to the Kohl Center in the state tournament.
We're bringing you all 15 games live, March 19th through the 21st.
Give them the gold ball.
Zimbrick Honda's championship presentation of the WIAA State Boys Basketball Tournament, exclusively on the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Wisconsin weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. 3/31/2026.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Hey, it's Riley Yauk. Stay in the know on area high school sports and follow ESPN Madison on social media for Prep Mania on Deck, each week's preview for the top games and events. Prep Mania on Deck is brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of high school sports and local communities.
Conference titles are up for grabs, bubble teams are sweating, and with Selection Sunday right around the corner, here's something you can lock in on. Mark Tauscher here. And right now at Pizza Hut, get a large pizza for just $10 with up to 5 toppings. Hand-tossed, thin and crispy, tavern or pan, carry-out only. 5 toppings, $10. Now that's a full starting lineup. Set your bracket and grab the pizza. Pizza Hut, feed good times, and remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app.
This loss is as painful to Packer fans as you can ever imagine.
A customizable homepage, easier and quicker live listening. Your show's at the touch of a fingertip. Available in Apple and Android app stores.
I have no evidence behind that whatsoever. It's just a feeling I have, and that might just be because I'm scared of this rivalry in the playoffs.
Your one-stop shop for ESPN Wisconsin. The brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. Download it today.
Let's be honest, I don't do stink. I work hard, I sweat, but I still want my gear to smell good and last. That's why I love Iron Jock. It was built to solve the problem everyone knows, smelly gear that wears out too fast. Iron Jock uses silver ion technology, infusing nano silver right into the fabric to kill 99% of odor-causing bacteria for the life of the gear. It doesn't wash out. It doesn't wear out. Iron Jock keeps me fresh and feeling unstoppable. Iron Jock, no stink, just performance. Shop now at ironjock.com. That's ironjoc.com.
Baseball season is heating up.
Breaking ball, hit high, hit deep, left center. Bye-bye baseball!
Get ready for the return of Brewers baseball on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Wilde and Tausch. Tausch and Jesse again today. Jason will be back on Monday. Another gymnastics meet going on that he's in attendance for today.
I'll tell you what, I love Schief was great, right? He told some really good stories, worked with him, and I think had a great understanding of Bob Harlan, not only the president of the Packers, but the dude. I love that quote that he said, and I remember Aaron saying this, that when he gets older, he'd like to be Bob Harlan. Like, that's pretty dang cool.
I think that's the sentiment we're seeing from a lot of the tributes to the great Bob Harlan, passing away yesterday at age 89, former Packers president and CEO. Taking your calls, your texts, sharing your personal interactions with Bob Harlan. He was so active in the Packers community around the state. Tausch has plenty of stories. I'm sure a lot of our fans have stories as well. A couple of them here on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Less is more. I want to start with this one from John. When my friend, whose fiance's dad played and later coached for the Packers, got married, we were lucky enough to get a tour of Lambeau Field that went everywhere in the stadium, led by Bob Harlan himself. That's pretty awesome. He even was kind enough to discuss my possible tryout for the team. He respectfully declined and said the team was pretty set at the time at wide receiver. A true class act. That's from John on the Carbless ESPN.
None of those stories are going to surprise any of us that know Bob, and I'm sure everybody's starting to kind of get the drift of the stories because he just was a kind man. And I think, I don't remember who said this quote, but when you're the leader of an organization like that, you always have to have the understanding that anytime someone has that conversation with you, it's their most important conversation of the day. If it's 2 minutes, if it's 20 seconds. And I don't know if Bob even needed to be reminded of that. I think that was just his natural thing. And as he grew into that job, I'm sure he got more and more in tune with that. But you just realize that those stories are being told now not because Bob Harlan wanted to be a good dude. It was because that's who Bob Harlan is. And that story, in a nice way, saying, I think we're probably set at wideout. Probably could have been a lot snarkier. That's Bob.
I'm glad he talked about his leadership. We'll get to another story here in a minute on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. But I wanted to ask you about, because everyone talks about how great of a leader he was and that his hands-off approach and letting the football people make the football decisions. Did you, as a player who was there for much of his tenure in the 2000s, did you feel that impact day to day, week to week, month to month while you played for the Green Bay Packers?
So, fortunately for me, that was the only structure that I've ever known. You hear other places where, the general manager can say something, but then, I'm going to go up top. I'm going to go up to the owner, the ownership group, and have those discussions. There was never a doubt about what and how the Green Bay Packers were organized. Bob Harlan was going to handle all of the community and business things, and if there was football stuff, decisions, it was Ron Wolf, and then it was Mike Sherman, and then obviously it was Ted Thompson. That was the pecking order, and I think whenever you're talking about an organizational structure, you want to have that clarity. you don't want it to be milk toast and kind of, oh, well, I don't know, we'll talk to him. This is what happens. And this is the structure, this is the organization, and it takes all of the other stuff out of it. I think all anyone is ever looking for in an organization, in a business, is I want to know my role, and I want to have clear communication as far as how am I doing in that role, and what are my expectations. That's it. And if you can have that, and I think that's where Bob, now, granted, it was a smaller operation than what it is today, by a lot. So you could have that more family feel. I love that. The business has obviously grown exponentially, and ironically, it's because Bob Harlan was able to pass the referendum to get that stadium, and then obviously to continue on and building up Titletown and helping getting that all started. So I think that's where Bob really set himself apart, is his authenticity and the fact that he did care. It wasn't I'm going to treat Ron Wolf from it. He genuinely just cared about everything about the Green Bay Packers.
As a player, was it different when he was around? Was he always around? What was it?
No, he wasn't always around, but he was around. He'd be at the Christmas party. You'd go on, if you're lucky, you'd go on these tailgate tours with him. He was very approachable. And it wasn't as if, there's a healthy amount of respect, and you understand you're not going to go up and slap him on the keister. But if you go up and shake hands, he would ask about your family. And I think he just generally wanted to learn. He is very similar to me, like Pat Richter. I think Pat Richter and Bob Harlan have a lot in common. And they both obviously have had, Pat is still plugging. Pat's doing great. But as things are going, I know my history with Pat Richter and my history with Bob Harlan, and both men are the highest character people in organizations that you could ever hope for.
844-770-3776, the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Another text here from Kevin. Good morning. I'm 68 and remember going to practice watching the Lombardi-era teams. I suffered like every Packers fan through the lean times. Bob's passing is a reminder to us dinosaurs. You're not a dinosaur, Kevin. Is a reminder to us of what it was. I and we are fortunate to have Chewy and Tausch, who knew and played during Bob's tenure, and to hear their stories. So Kevin appreciating the stories and the reflection today on Bob.
I think
legacy.
You always, and I had a buddy of mine text, it's great that all this happens. You get all this reflection. I think Bob got this when he was alive too. I think you always will reflect and do that. And I get it, man. The world is a fast-paced place, and you don't have time to sit, smell roses, and do all that. But I always think this is a good reminder to thank those people that have that big impact in your life, because it is nice. And I'm sure, and I know that I'm fairly certain that Bob Harlan felt all of that from Packer fans, obviously his family and friends, but it's just another good reminder when things like this happen to kind of take a look around and make sure you're thankful and have that pride about you, about what's going on.
Continue to keep your calls and your texts coming at 844-770-3776. We will continue to review them throughout the course of today's show on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Less is more. 844-770-3776. A couple of special guests potentially still to come throughout the course of today's show. We have a couple of texts out to some people that may be able to join and share a couple of stories on the life and legacy of Bob Harlan as we continue. But there is other football conversation that we want to have. Badgers Pro Day going on here in Madison. NFL free agency about to get ready in full swing. A couple of news and notes from around the league. Dom Catronio scheduled to appear in the 11 o'clock hour from Brewers spring training. World Baseball Classic. If you're a fan of Team USA, they get started tonight. Bryce Terang. So a lot of baseball to talk about with Dom coming up throughout the course of today's show as well. So coming up next, we're going to play Wilde and Tausch Trivia, presented by Cousin Subs and Iron Jock, and appropriately, today's trivia category, the life of Bob Harlan. Questions about the life and legacy of Bob Harlan. Caller number 10 right now at 844-770-3776. Caller 10, 844 770-3776. Your chance to play Wilde and Tausch Trivia, presented by Cousin Subs and Iron Jock. The life of Bob Harlan, today's trivia category. We will do that next on Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Bring on the madness. Wisconsin men's hoops hoping to break its near-decade-long Sweet 16 drought. While late-season losses could affect tournament seeding, Ben brushed on why opponents shouldn't overlook Bucky's overall resume.
I would rather have a team heading into March knowing that we beat Michigan, we beat Illinois on the road. Wait till we get to a neutral site. No one's going to want to see our two guards and be like, whew, I can't wait to play them.
Episode 1 of March Mode, streaming on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Order today and get 0% interest until 2032 at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Upgrade now, pay no interest until 2032. Visit PellaWI.com.
Mark Tausch here, and I can't wait until we get back to playing football again. But since it's going to be a little bit before we do that, you know what makes it feel more like football season? The cool, refreshing taste of an ice-cold Coors Light. No matter what season it is, whether it's before, during, or after a big game, or you just need a moment to chill, crack open a Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Coors Light is brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and cold packaged, so it's actually made to chill. The mountains on Coors Light's cold activated bottles and cans turn blue when chilled to perfection, which, besides the refreshing taste, is my favorite thing about drinking Coors Light. Refreshingly cold and only 102 calories, Coors Light is made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Ben Brust here for the Princeton Club. If you're looking for your better tomorrow, you know where to go. It's the Princeton Club. If you're looking to grow, it's also the Princeton Club, because they will cheer for you in all areas of your life. The best way to do that is to start a foundation of having a healthy body, and your growth will start from there. With the cleanest health clubs in Wisconsin, they provide everything for you to reach your goals. Start your better tomorrow today and grow in all areas of your life at the Princeton Club. Join for a better tomorrow.
As a mom, I'm glad my son plays school sports. It's where he has fun with his friends. He contributes to the team. Oh, and he stays out of trouble.
Support your school's athletic programs. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
What's new at Zimbrick Chevrolet? A lot. A free car wash with every service, plus a brand new detail facility to keep your ride looking fresh all year long. Relax with coffee and snacks while you wait, and if you can't, grab one of their numerous service loaners, take the shuttle, or even get a lift on them. Plus, Zimbrick Chevrolet has the largest new Chevrolet inventory in southern Wisconsin, and you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet. Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust.
The Exteriors Company, built for Wisconsin, backed by expertise. From our family to yours, roofing, windows, siding, gutters, and doors. Your solution-based company, community strong, and service that will please. Get a free estimate today. The Exteriors Company, built for Wisconsin, backed by expertise.
Mark Tausch here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. And from now through March 8th, our listeners get 40% off all Iron Jock t-shirts and polos with the code SPRING40. Iron Jock helps you look good, smell good, and keep showing up. Shop now at ironjock.com.
Brewers baseball is in the air.
Fly ball, deep left, get going and gone!
Spring back into the baseball season on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Say don't want nothing, but you look better on me, you look better on me. Let me show you something.
Wilde and Tausch, Jesse and Tausch. They are saying in the YouTube comments I shouldn't call it that. I should say it's Tausch and Jesse.
TJ? No, I'm always...
just because they had said it's one thing if Wilde gets top billing over Tausch, but it's definitely something else if Jesse does.
I think if I really wanted to fight, I asked I think at that time he was president and CEO, now he's CEO, and it was because my last name. And I think Jason, let's be honest, Jason's a lot more higher maintenance. So if it was Tausch and Wilde, Jason would freak out. I'm all right with it.
Should we announce for our 10-year anniversary coming up later this year that we're changing the name of the show and flip them just to see what happens for the next
Let's do that
decade?
on April Fool's.
Why are you always
to
trying
see
to
how that
stir
goes.
stuff up, Jason?
Tausch and
We'll do that on April Fool's. We'll put a thing out. I know he's not listening to the show today, so yeah, let's do that.
It's a great idea. Everybody is in on it with us. All right, time now for trivia presented by Cousin Subs and Iron Jock.
Wilde and Tausch Trivia is brought to you by Iron Jock, performance apparel that actually performs. No stink, just performance, and proudly Wisconsin built. Shop now at ironjock.com. And by Cousin Subs. It's lobster season at Cousin Subs. Their lobster salad sub is fresh, flavorful, and only here for a limited time. Try it today.
I got a quick question for you before we get to trivia. I have not dialed out of a landline. I got a note from a number, or Hunter got a note from a number, and I kind of want to call from a landline. Do you have to still press 1 to call out if it's a 920 area code?
So our station uses landline, and that's what I have to do. Like when I have to call like Evan Cohen on the Yingling hotline or things like that, those are ones where I've had to dial 1.
Do you have to push the 7 to get out still too, and then the 1?
No.
Because that's the old days.
No, it's just 1 area code, then your 3.
And I think
so. You paying for long distance then with that? Or
I don't always dial 1
and it still works?
And it works fine.
See, I had a stretch where I couldn't dial. I could only to call out. I had to hit 1.
Don't you kind of feel like maybe that whole 1 deal back in the day was a total? Because if they don't charge you now, why'd they charge you then? You get what I'm saying?
I mean, probably because there's probably plenty of reasons that we could go down this rabbit hole.
Is this a retroactive landline?
No, I'm just curious because
theory?
it's the same landlines. They didn't change the landlines.
Because back then you had actual lines going. You had to maintain those. So if you're going to call further, they're like, oh, okay, we have to maintain more lines to make that call work. So we're going to charge you for those longer distance calls.
Are the lines no longer need to be maintained?
No, because now it's cell phones. Now it's those towers.
Not on that.
Better maintenance.
Not on your landline.
Yeah, but then they run that through the internet. They just still call it a landline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now. See, now you're helping. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Jeff in Monroe is today's trivia contestant. Jeff, you calling on a landline?
Did you have to hit 1?
Yes. I had to hit 9. An outside line.
Fascinating. All right, Jeff, we are honoring the life of Bob Harlan with trivia today presented by Cousin Subs and Iron Jock. Question number 1 is this. In 1994, Bob Harlan established the green and gold packages of Packers season tickets, helping cater to fans from the Milwaukee area after the Packers stopped playing home games at which venue other than Lambeau Field? Were they playing home games at County Stadium, Camp Randall Stadium, or the football stadium in Sun Prairie that Tausch says doesn't get used enough?
Well, there's not me saying it. It doesn't get used enough.
Milwaukee County Stadium.
That is correct, yes. Jeff and Monroe, I had a feeling you would get that one pretty easy peasy.
That was the easiest Friday question we've had in a long time. All right, Jeff, from which Wisconsin university did Bob Harlan graduate and serve as sports information director before beginning his journey working in professional sports? Is it Marquette?
Jeez.
Bam!
Jeff, nicely done.
Well, what's the genesis of you knowing that so quickly, Jeff?
I just heard that before.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm older than you guys. You know, I hear things.
Okay, that's fair.
Remember, I'm occasionally.
I thought you heard less things when you got older.
Oh, good one. Maybe he's got a hearing aid.
You remember stuff from long ago a lot better.
Sure. Okay. Understood. If I would have asked which baseball team did Bob Harlan work for before working for the Green Bay Packers, would you have had any idea what that answer would be?
St. Louis Cardinals.
Jeez. Jeff knows his Bob Harlan.
Actually, I think I read about it. I read about him on the internet, okay?
Yeah, somebody read Jason's article over at channel3000.com, I think, this morning. Let's see how you do with this one, Jeff. This did not come from Jason's article. Question number 3. Bob Harlan's son and decorated sports broadcaster Kevin Harlan has now called which major sporting event more than any other broadcaster in sports history? The NBA Finals, the NCAA Tournament, or the Super Bowl?
I think it'd be the NCAA Tournament.
You would think that because he's on CBS and Turner Sports.
This is going to be a radio deal.
Kevin Harlan, more than 2 decades on the call for Westwood One Sports Radio, calling the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
More than anyone else in broadcasting history, Kevin Harlan has called the Super Bowl.
Kevin Harlan, GOAT.
Wow.
His radio play-by-play is far superior to his TV, and his TV is incredible.
He's really good at both. If you think Bob Harlan, obviously we're talking about the legacy, the life that he lived, and how he impacted so many sports fans and the Wisconsin community. Kevin Harlan has brought so much joy to sports fans worldwide for his calls of NBA and college
especially
basketball,
when those drunks
football.
run on the field. He is
loves
like
when there's guys on the field.
He really gets it rolling when that happens. He is great at what he does.
And then you think Kevin Harlan's daughter Olivia, who works in sports media, and she's married to Sam Decker, who's now part of that family. And of course, Sam Decker brought so much joy to Wisconsin sports fans during his time with the Badgers.
So are you trying to say that the Harlan family has brought more joy to the state of Wisconsin than any family in the history of families?
They are the first family of Wisconsin, yes.
Bold.
Name another.
Wow. I mean, you just made the statement 3 seconds ago. Let me think about it for a second.
3 generations.
I'll tell you this. They're in the Mount Rushmore, that's for sure.
Oh, stop it. They're good. They're not.
I didn't hear.
He said the Tauschers.
No, I'd put the Harlans ahead
The
of us.
Tauschers are pretty good. Got to get to it.
Yeah, the Harlans. Now you'll make me think, and I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
The first family of Wisconsin. Send your
Great
nominations.
job. Well, Jeff, you did a really good job today. Very good job.
2 out of 3. Thanks. 3 out of 4 entries.
Appreciate it.
The Iron Jock and Cousins Subs prize pack. We'll draw for that a little bit later in the show. Appreciate your contributions as always. Jeff, great to hear from you.
Thanks, you guys. Love you guys.
We love Jeff.
Jeff and Monroe, today's trivia contestant, presented by Cousins, Subs, and Iron Jock. Keep your stories coming. The life and legacy of Bob Harlan, 844-770-3776. I see a few more coming.
I don't know who else is even in the conversation with them. You think other ownership groups, obviously, you think
Sealigs?
Coles, and they're not. I wouldn't put either of them in there.
Yeah, the Coles, and there's a lot going on there.
I mean, I don't know a lot about the history of Lambeau. That would obviously the way they brought that in, and I don't know all of that. It's an interesting question.
Could the Euchers, because of Bob, but then how much that family did in terms of charitable organizations?
I would agree. I mean, obviously, Bob Uecker is a top of the food chain, but Jesse laying it out the way he did and going multi-layered.
We got 3 generations
that's a
of
lot.
an impact.
That's going to be a lot to overcome if anybody's trying to surpass the Harlans as the first family of joy brought to the state of Wisconsin.
Keep them coming. 844-770-3776. The nominations for other families that should be in the mix. Also your stories, personal interactions with the great Bob Harlan. We are going to transition, talk a little NFL. How to upgrade your roster without a first-round pick. Apparently, Rob Domofsky's writing self-help guides now for the Green Bay Packers. We'll check out what he said in his latest article at ESPN.com. Coming up in 2 minutes to kick off the 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
My fiance wanted to incorporate me in the process of picking out my engagement ring. and we went to Chalmers, and that was the first place that we went to look for rings.
The staff educated us right away, and we felt very comfortable, and I learned a lot about diamonds.
Chalmers did a great job explaining the process to us, the type of grade of the diamond.
Just from the second you walk in, I mean, there's somebody who's taking you over, showing you exactly what you want in your price range.
I think that my ring is the most beautiful ring I've ever seen, thanks to Chalmers Jewelers.
This is Derek Engler. You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
What is up, Madison? I'm Hunter Vaughn. Your Sports Center update is brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out at 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. It's a huge weekend of basketball here in the Madison area. Tonight, boys regional semifinal on Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania. The 11-seed Madison West Regents travel to the 6-seed Oregon Panthers. You can join Riley Yauk and the Dean Dennis Sumrow with pregame coverage starting at 6:45. Tip-off at 7 p.m. right here on 100.5 ESPN and streaming for free on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Then on Saturday, it's a double header of high school basketball. First at 1 p.m., a trip to state on the line. The Milton Redhawks taking on the Elkhorn Elks in a girls' sectional final. Jesse Nelson and the Dean Dennis Summerall will be on the call for that one. Again, streaming for free on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Then at 7 p.m. on Saturday night, a boys' regional final, either Madison West or Oregon, taking on the winner of Verona and Sun Prairie West. Hour 2 of Wilde and Tausch starts now.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Ten o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch. Jesse and Tausch on a Friday again. Jason has the day off. He will be back on Monday.
It's almost like that time you had that dog that you had to take every Wednesday off for 6 months. Do you remember that? It's kind of similar to what Jason's doing.
Yeah. I'm not complaining about it.
I mean, one's a little bit more important, your children or somebody's dog.
I think there's some people that think dogs are as, if not more, than kids. Some people feel that way.
Those are strange
I would not
people.
feel that way, but some people do.
I have no regrets taking Wednesdays off in August.
Why'd you wink
stay
at me?
home. I didn't wink.
You just winked.
I might have twitched. I didn't wink.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was a twitch. Before we get to Kyler Murray potentially going to the Vikings and whatever Domofsky wrote, I don't know. So getting clipped. I get clipped all the time now, and that's fine.
Popular guy.
No, I mean, I would love to find a way to be clip-proof. I could just go like Jason and not answer any questions.
Yeah,
I
just
could
be very milquetoast on everything.
And then the show will go off. But that's a whole other conversation for another day. The Rashan Gary, I understand fans are upset. And he did not play good football the last half of the season. And I believe I was crystal clear with that assessment on yesterday's show.
I thought you were very clear.
Very clear.
Yeah.
But to act as if he was hot garbage, and I think people, especially behind keyboards, get a little, oh, he sucks. And I mean, I took shrapnel. What would I take shrapnel for earlier this week? I've been shrapnelized this week. I said something else, and I don't remember exactly what everybody was.
Justin Fields.
Oh, I feel great about my
yeah.
Justin Fields take, and I feel really good about this take. So it doesn't bother me. Sometimes things will be a little out of context. I don't feel like this was.
Okay, so for those who haven't seen it, would you like to remind everyone your
official
official
why don't you?
stance?
That's part of you being a point guard.
So Rashan Gary, who had the cryptic post on Instagram yesterday of the Packers sweatshirt on the track, and we were trying to decipher what the artwork meant. Modern art, I believe is how Tausch described it. Then we got into a big conversation about Rashan Gary. And your official, I guess the way I interpreted your stance was Rashan Gary has been a productive player for the Green Bay Packers. He hasn't been a great player for the contract that he has.
Yeah. And I said, and I believe even in that clipped up quote, it was, he will not be back at the current salary. But there is a road back if it's going to be less money. And to poo-poo Rashan Gary's stats from last year, I don't understand why we at least don't acknowledge he had 7.5 sacks, and depending on who talked, 60 pressures. That isn't out of thin air. Now, was he great at the... And I also, as Jason asked me point blank, Enigbare or Rashan Gary, I said Enigbare before I even finished the sentence. So I understand things can get kind of skewed. I am not saying that Rashan Gary is elite anymore. I'm not. I said it after that 49ers postseason game where we lost on the horrible special teams, because go watch the film. He was elite that day. He was elite most of the back half of that season. This last year, he was not what we needed him to be at the end of the year. And I think that's a big reason why he potentially is going to be released, or at a minimum, restructured. I don't think that's absurd. And to say that he sucks and that he's hot garbage, which is what I saw people saying, I couldn't disagree more. He still was he was a good NFL football player for a big chunk of the season. He was not very productive at the end of it. And all of the criticism levied to him, I thought was fair at the end of the season. But the way I looked at it, I even stopped looking at the replies because they were all negative. It was as if I had said that Rashan Gary is Lawrence Taylor. He wasn't. But let's not act like he was you rushing the passer, because he still was out. He still performed. I understand that there's always going to be higher criticism with money, draft pick status. Those things, I am the biggest believer that expectations matter. They do. Money matters. If you're getting paid a lot, you're going to be asked to do a lot more. He didn't live up to that last year. Can I be more crystal clear?
Yeah, get ready to get clipped. I mean, get ready to get clipped again, because that was awesome. That was great insight. I agree with you.
I'm not getting clipped again.
But let me tell you why I think this is being interpreted the way that it is by fans. Because everything, this time of year especially, when we're comparing free agent to free agent, which player should get a contract compared to others, who's getting paid similar amounts, everything is relative. It's like our conversation last week. If you want to say, are the Green Bay Packers a great team? Well, are we comparing them to the Arizona Cardinals, or are we comparing them to the Seattle Seahawks? Because that's a different conversation depending on who you're comparing them to. If you just look at Rashan Gary as a standalone player, he's a fine NFL player. He's productive defensively. He has some solid numbers over the course of his career. He's put up what
I would say the first 8
career.
to 9 games he was. The back half of the season was not good enough. I couldn't agree more.
And then you get into the extra stuff that goes beyond the box score and the numbers, where you look at the tape and the hustle on some of the plays and what appeared to be letting up, chasing down some running backs or some quarterbacks. And that's the stuff that Jason shared the quote from Micah Parsons at the end of the season about yesterday that we thought was targeting, which we don't have to relitigate. So if you're comparing Rashan Gary to Enigbare, to Micah Parsons, to some of his peers on the Green Bay Packers, I understand why some keyboard warriors would say he was hot garbage. Like, I disagree. I don't think that's a nice thing to say. I don't agree with it necessarily, but I understand why some would interpret it that way when you're comparing him to a couple of really solid, really great players, especially one who's viewed as the best at his position in the sport.
Yeah, Micah Parsons and Rashan Gary are two completely different players. There is no doubt, had Rashan Gary elevated when he got his contract to the point they would have never had to go and get Micah Parsons. That is a I think very fair conversation to have. He didn't. Does that mean he stinks and he can't play? No. There are differences. Did the Packers overpay for Rashan Gary? I would say early on in that contract, probably not. If you asked me last year, was he overpaid? I think you could probably make that argument.
844-770-3776. Got a couple of texts coming in here. So we will get to Rob Domofsky's guide to help the Green Bay Packers through free agency without a first-round pick this year coming up in a little bit. This text from The Adam in Madison. I believe Rashan Gary is a good player, potentially great. My issue is with what appeared to be a lack of effort in the back half of the past season.
Yeah, I am never going to question. I mean, you can see it. People saw it for what they're at. I'm never going to say somebody isn't. Now, it was noticeable, and I think the Bears obviously noticed because they ran bootlegs to him almost exclusively. Why? you saw the tape. You were able to get the edge. You were able to get the corner. You weren't able to do that when it was Enigbare. So take that for what it's worth.
844-770-3776. I'm seeing some YouTube comments. Mike's in here. Rashan Gary was hot garbage the last 11 games of the season. He had as many sacks as all of us in this chat did. That's pathetic.
He did not have a good second half of the season. No doubt. I'm not going to go the hot guy. I'm not going down that road. I'm just not going to.
Okay, so if Rashan Gary, just to kind of put a bow on this conversation, because we did this yesterday, now here it is again. Free agency starts next week, legal tampering period, and then you get into the good stuff the following week. But news is going to start to
Monday
circulate.
We'll start hearing stuff.
I mean, we're already starting to hear rumblings on a number of different fronts. There's Kyler Murray rumors going around right now. That
Tyler Biadasz, who many thought Wisconsin guy would have thought that he would have come to Green Bay. Nope, Chargers, 10 years or $10 million a year, $30 million for 3 years.
And he's not a free agent. He was just
released. It would have been great for
Washington.
Green Bay just because of the comp pick structure that we've discussed a ton of.
Yep. So on the Rashan Gary front, put aside the hot garbage internet conversation. Put aside the cryptic Instagram post. Does he make sense at whatever price you want to put it at to be a member of the Green Bay Packers next year, and would he help this team pursue winning a Super Bowl?
Yes. It has to be at the Packers' price. He no longer, when you dip and your production dips, you no longer dictate terms. Micah Parsons was great enough to dictate the terms he did. Rashan Gary will be in the position where I think, and we've went over this numerous times, where I think it's going to be he has dead cap money. Can he make more somewhere else? And if he can't, does it make sense for Green Bay to give him a haircut, give him another year, because they're going to be paying him anyways, in retrospect. How that all shakes out, Rashan Gary can still do things that you want in a football player. It's going to be less reps, and it would be less money. Is that going to be something Rashan wants? Those would be the things that I would be asking.
A lot of comments rolling in here on he gives up on plays, questioning the effort.
No, and listen, man, I have no problem with fans calling that stuff out. I do when you say frauds about the Bears and they beat us, twice and knocked us out of the playoffs. That bothers me. Same thing when you say he sucks blank and he does this. Well, you can say all of that. I don't have to agree with it.
Keep the conversation going on Rashan Gary on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line 844-770-3776. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the other free agency notes from around the league. Plus, we still want to get to that Rob Domofsky article outlining how the Packers can help themselves this offseason to bolster the roster in pursuit of a Super Bowl without a first-round pick. That's all still to come. But first, Tausch is going to tell us about UW Credit Union.
Indeed, for every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for you, proudly serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. They're going to help you reach your financial goals. And boy, this app, UW Credit Union's mobile app, offers a simple way to check accounts, make transfers, and more. That is a smart play from the pocket. And if you got cheddar on your mind, UW Credit Union can help with no monthly fee checking and great rates. I'm talking about put cheese on everything, right? That's Rashan Gary's little catchphrase.
That's his thing, yeah.
Help keep more of that cheese in your wallet. Join today at uwcu.org, insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
Oh, man, we're also getting some really interesting texts about the families that should be in the conversation along with the Harlans as the
I am very
first
intrigued by
families
that.
of Wisconsin. So we'll get to that coming up, too. Stick around. A lot of fun still to have as we continue on. Jesse and Tausch on Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here, and it's another Feel Good Friday on Wilde and Tausch. And coming up to close out today's show, we'll share some of our favorite Feel Good stories of the week, painted by Holman Lindsay Paints. When you're ready to get started on your next paint project at home, I recommend you do what my family did and trust the pro painters at Holman Lindsay to get the job done right. To get connected with the perfect pro painter for what your project calls for, just stop into any Madison area Holman Lindsay location and ask. The team at Holman Lindsay will help find the best pro for the job. From winter snowstorms to the hottest heat in July, Hallman Lindsay is the one paint you can trust to withstand the challenges of Wisconsin's weather year-round. That's what makes it Wisconsin's best paint. Hallman Lindsay, great paint, great people. Check them out at hallmanlindsay.com. And stick around for Feel Good Friday coming up to close out today's show, painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, let's talk about something near and dear to my heart. Beer. Specifically, great beer. And if you haven't met Yuengling yet, allow me to introduce you. Yuengling is the oldest brewery in America, founded in Pottsville, PA in 1829. 197 years, 6 generations of family-owned brewing. Do you know how they became America's oldest brewery? By making great beer. This is a real American beer. Smooth, rich, and finally here in Wisconsin. So grab a Yuengling, raise a glass, and celebrate history the way it was meant to be celebrated, by drinking it. Yuengling, the oldest brewery in America. DG Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly.
Wisconsin weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2026.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because your next Mercedes Sprinter van is waiting for you.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. And from now through March 8th, our listeners get 40% off all Iron Jock t-shirts and polos with the code SPRING40. Iron Jock helps you look good, smell good, and keep showing up. Shop now at ironjock.com.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen. Coming up Friday, NFL insider Tom Pelissero, draft prospect Jennings Dunker and his glorious ginger mullet. The UFL's Rick Neuheisel, and what's more likely? That's Friday's Rich Eisen Show on Disney+, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.
Different topics we're talking about here. Jesse and Tausch with Wilde and Tausch. Jason's on assignment. He'll be back on Monday. Hunter Vaughn, by the way, our cousin sub of the day, producing the show. Cousin subs, we believe in better. So, in honoring the life and legacy of Bob Harlan, I did share that I think the Harlans are the first family of Wisconsin. And
you laid it out in a pretty good way.
We got 3 generations. Bob Harlan, his son Kevin, the play-by-play voice, and then Sam Decker and Olivia Harlan Decker, both actively involved either as a basketball player, of course, at the University of Wisconsin, Olivia in sports media now as well. And now we see other nominations coming in on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin Talking text line. This is a good one, the Bennett family. Dick and Tony Bennett coming in from a couple of different people on.
They're definitely in the mix.
Yeah, 844-770-3776. I think had Tony taken the Wisconsin job or been offered the Wisconsin job at some point here in the last decade.
The Johnsons in hockey.
Yeah, that one was also shared here. Yep, the Johnsons.
All right, we're starting to chip away. Okay.
So keep them coming, 844-770-3776. Curtin Franklin was one who said Bob and Mark Johnson for Wisconsin hockey. The Richters, when you think Pat Richter, you mentioned him earlier, former Wisconsin athletic director, obvioused a decorated athlete as well.
Barry played in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
Go the Suter family as well.
Yeah, Suter family.
Yep. The Deaners, when you think about the coaching for the dad, and then Travis and what he did leading Marquette, helping.
Yeah, I'm not going to put them on the list, but I think they'd be honorable mention, sure.
So
if he played at Wisconsin, you'd put him on the list.
Maybe.
So keep them coming, 844-770-3770. A big one for Marquette, by the way. UConn tomorrow. Fiserv Forum closing out the regular season.
That's going to be tough.
Chance for an upset. 844-770-3776. Okay, so some news, I want to get to Rob Demovsky's article here. So Rob Demovsky apparently is writing self-help guides now. How Packers can aim to upgrade the roster without a first-round pick. That's his article over at ESPN.com. You can check it out. Free agency, of course, the legal tampering period starts next week, and then full-fledged free agency starts the week following, right around the start of the NCAA tournament as well. So Rob outlines how the Packers have not gone wild in free agency, but Goody has been active with a pair of big signings each of the last two off seasons. Last year, Aaron Banks and Nate Hobbs. The year before that was, of course, Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney. If you want to say he wilded out at any point, that was probably the one where he got a little crazy with the pocketbook and started spending with those two guys who've both been big impact players. So free agency, if the Packers are going to make any significant upgrades, bolstering their chances to win the Super Bowl next year, the next 2 weeks may tell us a lot about what their intentions are, both with players they may choose to keep in Green Bay or probably more likely players they would look to bring in from elsewhere.
Isn't that obvious?
I thought it was pretty obvious, yes. But
so what are we doing?
To see it outlined this way and to say, okay, like this is not going to be your typical draft and develop type offseason for the Green Bay Packers. They are going to be most active in trying to improve the roster for next year in the next couple of weeks.
How are they going to do that?
Spending money in free agency, moving dollars around cap-wise, as they've already started to do with Xavier McKinney and other players, and trying to look at where is the biggest hole. Rob Demovsky points out corner and defensive line could be two of the top priorities for Goody this offseason. And if you look at who's available on the market, where the market is deepest, and where you can find the best value this offseason, that's what you're going to look for.
That's okay. I disagree with Rob. This team is going to improve and make the biggest strides by getting their injured players back healthy playing. It isn't going to be some magic elixir where you think we're going to go sign or trade for McDuffie or make a bold, big move like that. I don't. Do I think we'll pick up some veteran players, whether it's a more of an older veteran defensive lineman to help with some depth? Is there going to be a spot outside of maybe going to grab a center? That would be the one spot that I think they might go, where you're going to go and pay a big boy free agent the first 3 days, which is where the big boy money comes. Are the Packers going to do that at all? And that person going to be an impact starter for next year's football team? Do you think that's going to be a yes or a no?
I want it to be a yes.
That's not what I asked.
I think it will be a no.
So then what are we talking about? That's why I asked you once, I'll ask you twice. This is not going to be – the Green Bay Packers are not going to win a Super Bowl or change because of some big boy free agent. That's not how this offseason is going to go, in my opinion. I think this is going to go – we need to add some depth. We need to solidify and figure some things out up front. But this next season is going to be a home run season if Tucker Kraft comes back healthy, if Devontae Wyatt comes back healthy, if Micah Parsons comes back healthy, okay? And if Zach Tom comes back healthy, if Jordan Morgan shows he can play left tackle. Those are going to be the reasons that this team moves. Not because we released Elton Jenkins. We're going to release Elton Jenkins. Okay, so I guess all of this No. So I think that you can make some moves that will help you. If you think these moves are going to put you over the top at this point, I just disagree with that.
You're basically going Hoosiers on this then. And you're saying my team is on the floor. They're not all healthy right now.
That is not what I said. What I said was if you're going to do something, it's going to be players that are cut. You're not going to see a Micah Parsons type trade, I don't believe. I don't think you're going to see that big splash. I think you could see some ripples. A veteran offensive lineman on day 4 or 5 of free agency. If there is going to be the, oh my God, Monday, Tuesday tampering period, Adam Schefter reports the Packers do this, my guess is it will be an interior offensive or defensive lineman. I don't know what corners are available. That would be a spot that I would think Green Bay would look, but I don't think it's going to be one of these high-priced, top-of-the-market guys because the Packers are going to have guys they have to pay. They're up against the cap. I know they've done some things to clean it, and they're going to do more, but it just seems like that is not the road that this team is. They made their big move, and now it's going to be smaller supplemental moves to solidify the roster, not the big splashes, in my opinion.
One of the quotes that Rob includes in this article from Packers GM Brian Gutekunst is he expects to have, quote, all the flexibility to do what we need to do this offseason. What does that mean?
That means you're going to move more money around. There's going to be, whether it's, I don't know Jordan Love's contract, but I'm sure there's bonus money you can move and get more cap space. I think he wants the flexibility. If there is a center or someone on the interior that they feel like can really help defensively, offensive line, and maybe there's a corner out there that I don't know about, but I think he wants that flexibility because Russ Ball has shown he's very good at getting guys signed up and then pushing that money down the road and keeping that manageable on the cap. He wants to position himself that if he thinks there's a difference maker out there, he can go get him.
Hunter's got something. What do you got?
Well, I was just going to ask, and Tausch, you kind of mentioned it there. The restructures, though, if they go too far to try and make a big move, then you end up with issues like the Saints where you're $40 million over the cap.
Yep.
Like Russ Ball wouldn't go that
He's
bad.
not, right.
But that's the issue if fans want that you just start kicking this can down the road, and then 5 years from now, you can't do anything, and you've got to get rid of half your team to get under the cap.
Right, and I think that's always the conversation that we have with how the Rams approach things. They blank them picks and all. You still need to draft well, and you hope to pay. You're going to pay Tucker Kraft this offseason. Whether or not they're going to end up paying Christian Watson more, I would say let the season play out, but I understand the thought process on it. You always want to keep yourself as flexible as you can, but when you see something like you did with Micah, that's why you stay flexible, so you can go make a big move like that. My point is not that anyone thinks that they were going to make a big move like that. I don't even think you're going to see anything close to that. And if there is a Packers signing Monday, Tuesday, illegally or legal, whatever it's called, I will be very surprised if that happens early in this free agency period for the Packers.
Would you count the I saw the rumors around Cowboys Twitter of Brandon Aubrey, their kicker.
No, that's not going to happen.
You don't think the Packers would send their second? Because
he's a Cowboys fan.
No, I understand.
Give him a here.
Well, why would Hunter want Aubrey to leave? He single-handedly won him a football game last year.
Yeah, and I saw the Cowboys were going to put the second-round pick on him, so the Packers, in order to get him, would need to pay him about $8 million a year to be the highest-paid kicker in the league and give the Cowboys their second-round pick this year as well.
I would think that there is no chance in blank that happens. None.
I think he's clear on that.
Yep, I just wanted the rest of the state to hear that because there's a lot of Packers Twitter that thinks otherwise.
Well, because they want a great kicker, and I get it. But Brandon McManus will be the kicker next season unless something major happens. They'll have competition. I think Havrasek is back. But I think the thought is he was dinged up. His kicking in playoff games is a concern. There's no doubt. But I think that you heard Goody say he's made 20-some-odd kicks. I think Brandon McManus will be the kicker. They paid him, and unless Aubrey came down the pipe and it was, if you could just sign him that might be a different story. But in a year we don't have a first-round pick, you think we're going to give up a second-round pick and pay a kicker $2 million more than the market value? He's good. But the thing with kickers, you can be great and you can be gone. Like that.
Check out Rob Domofsky's full article outlining how the Packers can help themselves this offseason without a first-round pick over at ESPN.com. One could say the Packers and general manager Brian Gutekunst are dreaming fearlessly for a championship run in 2026.
You could. Badger fans, American Family Insurance wants you and 3 friends to have the game day of your dreams. You could win on-the-court access before the game, incredible seats to cheer on your favorite team. Enter the Dream Day sweepstakes now at amfam.com/Badgers. Again, get all kinds of swag. You get great seats. You get all that access pregame. It's a wonderful thing. And again, amfam.com/Badgers to enter. Dream fearlessly, insure carefully.
How about the Strickers as a first family of Wisconsin?
They're definitely in the mix.
Steve Stricker obviously has won a bunch on the PGA Tour, and now his daughters and Tiziani's involved in that. There's something there to the first families of Wisconsin.
We missed one, and I saw some YouTube chats.
Yeah?
The Watt family.
Oh yeah, they're definitely there. Yeah, no doubt about it.
I also saw the Knipples have a chance to work their way into the mix. Not yet, but they're working on it.
Let's be honest
about
that.
5 Knipple brothers.
Let's be honest about that. I love that they're from the state and they play great high school basketball. I don't think unless there's a
Cager play,
they play for Marquette, Wisconsin, or the Bucks. Are they really for the state of Wisconsin in that regard?
If they win like 9 championships in a row at Wisconsin Lutheran, I think you could make it.
No. Listen, man, I'm glad that they're doing that, but we're talking about overall joy brought to the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah, they almost become enemies.
I'm sorry if Con Knippel wins with Charlotte. Great for the Knippels.
Gonna be Rookie of the Year.
Probably. Are we that excited as in Wisconsin?
I mean,
I don't know.
I am because
with the Bucks being
really
bad,
cool.
With the Bucks being bad, it's cool to Knippel, Rookie of the Year, Charlotte, good for them.
No, it is. It's awesome for them, and I'll be rooting for them. I gotta be rooting for them when the Hornets are winning. Like, okay, great, kudos to you.
You'll be a big Charlotte Hornet fan around here all of a sudden. It'll be fun.
Tony Bennett played for the Hornets too.
They've got great colors too, so you can get some awesome gear.
I like their old court from the 90s with the teal and the blue like weaving together.
Yep, you guys put them on yours. I'm not putting them on mine.
Keep them coming. Nominations for the first family of Wisconsin. The Harlans still with 3 generations.
I think the Watts probably are at top of Harlans.
No. You
think? That Rose Bowl season for JJ, like, I think the memories that brings, and then you had TJ doing well, Derek going to the NFL too, like...
And sustaining
it kind of is the same thing. The Harlans with the Packers the Packers are the kings of sports in the state of Wisconsin. I'm changing my tune. I'm going back to the Harlans. Because the Watts, while they did nice stuff at the University of Wisconsin, Pittsburgh, all right, that's great. Houston, okay. What are you doing for me with the Badger? With the Green Bay Packers?
If one of the Watts had played for the Packers, I think there's a great case for the Watts.
I tend to agree. Or the Brewers.
What if JJ finally comes back and becomes that GM ambassador Andrew Luck type for UW or something like that?
And they win a national championship. Just coming back isn't going to do it.
Yeah, they win a championship. Sure, we can
we lower the bar a little bit?
Get us into playoffs. Get us into no. There's no longer winning the. You got to just get us into playoffs.
Well,
that is
winning
the new
the Big
standard.
Ten would get you in, so
wouldn't be good enough.
Got to win.
Not to surpass the Harlans.
If he came and brought the glory back, hey, we can start having that conversation. But Harlans, and then I'd go Watts.
Keep them coming, 844-770-3776. News and notes from NFL free agency, including a former Badger making some news this morning, and the Minnesota Vikings may have a new quarterback on the way. We'll talk about both of those storylines next on Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Schiefelbein here. People ask, why did I join UW Credit Union? Well, let's break it down. Convenient local branches, easy to use mobile banking app, rewards checking with early payday, and that beautiful Bucky debit card. Also, they've been serving Wisconsin since 1931, which means they have local expertise that's actually local. So stop by a branch or visit uwcu.org to join today and become a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
It's well known that the boss at the exteriors company is a perfectionist.
It's a gift.
He not only oversees every job, he inspects each aspect of the operation to get to the root of what your project will actually need to be long-lasting.
Call 960-ROOF.
Oh, he's proud of all the reviews.
What can I say? Take a look.
The Exteriors Company, built for Wisconsin, backed by expertise.
ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best local sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see the teams recognized for making a positive impact in the community. It's the Game Changers of the Month, presented by Zimbrick Honda.
Hey, it's John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. Come in and discover the high standards, classic traditions, honesty, integrity, and elegance when you walk through our doors. For over 90 years, customers have returned again and again to our warm boutique setting. Trust me, because I've been there for over 40 of them. Whether it's time to come back or your first time in, stop by Goodman's Jewelers at 220 State Street today. Goodman's Jewelers, the Diamond Store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Planning for your financial future shouldn't feel overwhelming. I'm Brian from Canopy Wealth Management, and I believe your financial plan should be as unique as you are. Whether you're a details person or you prefer the simplified view, we've got you covered. Plus, with our easy-to-use online platform, you can check your progress anytime, anywhere, even at 2 a.m. in your pajamas if that's your thing. At Canopy Wealth Management, we promise care, competence, and clarity in everything that we do. Get started today at canopy-wealth.com.
Paid for by Canopy Wealth Management. Canopy Wealth Management is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Looking to buy your next home or ready to sell and move on to bigger and better things? What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. Don't be left out in the cold this season. Let's get housed. Nobody knows what the future holds. The longer you wait to find your next home, the better chance you'll be paying more for it than you would be today. Don't miss out on what could be the best opportunity to find your dream home. Contact our team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to get started. That's BrunerRealtyInc.com. Let's get housed.
Talk Badger sports year-round with the Jump Around podcast.
We are thrilled to be joined by one of our favorite players for the Wisconsin Badgers, Nick Boyd.
Tune in for the Top Badgers conversations every week, featuring special guests with Wisconsin players, coaches, and more.
It would mean everything, and that's the reason I came, to be on the highest level, biggest stage, and just show the world who Nick Boyd is.
The Jump Around, brought to you by Steinhoffels, streaming live every Thursday on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and available wherever you get your podcasts.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
Brewers baseball is back.
First pitch swinging and a drive to deep left. It's way back and way gone for Brandon Lockridge. First home run of the spring.
You're listening to Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers, 100.5 ESPN.
All right, old T, you want to talk about Kyler or Tyler first?
Tyler Linderbaum?
Biadasz.
Oh, we can go eat. Either way, I'll let you pick.
Tyler Biadasz, since you asked for the clarification. Talking NFL free agency, Tyler and Kyler making the most noteworthy news cycle this morning. So Tyler Biadasz has a new deal joining the I almost said San Diego. I haven't done that in a while. The Los Angeles Chargers, 3 years, $30 million.
I wonder why Washington went to just traded him. That was his contract. That's what he was being, as what he was going to be getting paid. You could have gotten a pick for him.
My only assumption is that they were desperate to clear cap space because of all those signings.
Yeah,
they
you don't
made
think you
last
call
year.
LA and say, here's a 7th-round pick. And then you don't even have to give him a 3-year, and you don't have the guaranteed money. He's got a contract. They already paid the guaranteed money out.
Maybe they're just lazy and didn't want to make any phone calls.
Well, and if that's the case, I would be very cautious of who's running that operation.
Setback last year, but they've seemed to be on the right track in Washington. Meanwhile, the Chargers do bolster the offensive line. They said that was something they had to do to help Justin Herbert out for next year, and they're doing it before free agency even opens. Because Tyler Biadasz was cut by the Commanders, he was not in the pool of free agents that had to go through the entire process over the next 2 weeks and could sign anytime he wanted. And so the Chargers made that official this morning. 3 years, $30 million for the former Wisconsin Badgers offensive lineman, Tyler Biadasz. He was near the top of our lists of players that would be very compelling for the Green Bay Packers to bring in. I thought that would have some legs to it, but clearly not.
I think at that price point, I'm not sure I'm as intrigued. I think Tyler's been a very, obviously, Hunter, you know well, he is his time in Dallas by the 3rd and 4th year. He is a really good football player, and I think he's getting older. And you know how that goes with Green Bay. And I don't think you want to commit. I don't know how much guaranteed money that contract was, but I was thinking more along the lines of a 1 or 2 year deal that if he doesn't play well, you can get out of. But yes, I thought it would have been a good fit. You bring him home. They need to solidify the interior. And maybe it'll end up being Sean Rhyan being brought back on a deal that is, very much team friendly. I don't know what kind of demand Sean will get. I think Sean Rhyan is a better football player than what he gets credit for. I think he plays hard. He's handled adversity. It feels as if Green Bay has constantly tried to push him out the door, and he just keeps clawing his way back in. I like that. So whether or not he's going to be able to be consistent and play good enough ball at center, this. He can help you play. He can help you win games, and he can help with that. Right now, Banks is more than likely going to be back at left guard. He can help you with depth, and he can push whatever. If you end up drafting a center, he can push and be one of those guys that you can count on, and there is a value to that. I just wonder if maybe he'll have more value with another team, and then. That's why the Biadasz signing, maybe that leans me to think that maybe the Sean Rhyan might be coming back, because there would have been maybe a little more desperation in the fact that it fit that no comp pick equation of signing him.
What do you think the Biadasz signing ultimately means for the market for the Packers and free agency?
Well, Linderbaum is going to get broke off, and I knew that going in. He's really good. He's going to get over $20 million a year. Tyler got 10. I don't know if that sets that bar kind of where Sean Ryan's going to be. The Chicago Bears need a center. There's teams that need center play, and I think you look at it, it is a very important position, and it's starting to get that appreciation, I guess, that you need to have a good player in that position.
So then we go from Tyler Biadasz to Kyler Murray. That's the other news. I don't know who Connor J. Hughes is. I had a quick search on social media. NFL reporter for SNY TV. That's in New York.
Sounds like you just found out who he is.
Covering the Jets and the Giants. His Twitter bio says, basically, I watch football, then write and talk about it. So he's Jason.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know if that's a slight to either of them. So he is apparently reporting that the expectation is for Kyler Murray to sign with the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, and obviously that takes away that fun storyline that we discussed yesterday, but I could see this making sense. They need to bring somebody in, and Kyler Murray is going to cost $1.5 million because anything that he makes on top of that is offset. So my guess is for this year, he'll do something similar to what Russell Wilson did last year or 2 years ago when he was with Pittsburgh. You get all that guaranteed money. You can help your team by having a low contract, you build up around, and maybe that can be the rebirth of your career. We all, I think, on this panel, I know I do, appreciate and think that Kevin O'Connell's a really good football coach. He's done a lot of really good things. They won 9 games last year. So I'm not afraid of Kyler Murray. I think the Green Bay Packers will have But I do think that there obviously is a lot of talent, both with his legs, and he has shown that he can throw the football. But I would not want him as my starting quarterback in the long term. I wouldn't.
Connor Hughes is saying the expectation is that he signs with the Vikings. I do know who Jeremy Fowler is, ESPN NFL insider. He appeared on NFL Live yesterday. Here's what he said about the Vikings' pursuit of Kyler Murray and maybe another option as a potential quarterback in Minnesota also.
Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota, I know he is in their first batch of quarterback options that they're looking at. I would call it tier 1. There will be a second team that gets involved eventually. Will it be the Jets? Could it be the Atlanta Falcons, who need a bit of a bridge with Michael Penix still hurt coming off that knee issue? Then you got Tua Tagovailoa. This one's a bit more clear-cut because of the $54 million on the books. It's just going to be near impossible to trade him. In fact, the Dolphins might need to give up draft picks just to facilitate a trade. At the end of the day, they could take that $99 million cap hit as a post-June 1st cut if they decide to do that. And then, look, I think he'll have a bridge option somewhere, but due to the lack of arm strength compared to some of these other options, he could have some trouble being at the top of the heap in this pecking order.
So Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa.
I love whoever was interviewing him. Definitely wanted him to stop talking. You hear me? Stop. That's like a cue for shut up.
Hey, been there.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I don't think Tua. I mean, you're going to pay $99 million for someone to go away. That tells you a lot. Kyler Murray, if I'm Arizona, I'm looking long and hard at it. I know you have to reset, and there's a value in kind of getting a fresh start. So I understand what Arizona's doing. And if I'm Kyler Murray, I'm looking at Minnesota. It is a great spot because you have great wideouts, you have a great coach, and you have a pretty doggone good football team, and you can help them out by being, a couple $1 million in salary. I think that is a big win. If the Vikings can do that as kind of their bridge scenario, great. Tua is going to be a backup. Tua is not going to be a starter in this league unless someone gets hurt.
So if I asked you for the Minnesota Vikings, if you were the general manager in Minnesota, Kyler Murray, Malik Willis, Tua, what's your best option to
Kyler Murray.
Be competitive next year?
Kyler Murray.
Okay. I don't know what the odds are at Hard Rock Casino Rockford of Kyler Murray joining the Minnesota Vikings. I did see it's been exponentially increasing here in recent days.
We're going to be heading down there soon. Sometime in April, we're going to be rolling down there, and it's only 60 minutes off of I-90, right down in Rockford, Illinois. It offers the most generous and most frequent promotions of any casino in the Midwest. And, oh boy, be part of the $40,000 Gold Rush Progressive drawing on Fridays in March. Today's Friday. Each hour, starting at 11 a.m. on Fridays, one lucky guest will be selected to win free slot play. Winners will have 3 minutes to claim their prize. Oh, baby, can you imagine? Beep, 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 beep. Just hammering away. Drawings continue until a winner is validated for the final drawing. Play, dine, shop, and enjoy live shows like Jesse did with Terry Bradshaw. And the sports book that we had some success at, and we should have had more. The Hard Rock Casino Rockford, a premier entertainment destination. Again, Fridays, $40,000 Gold Rush Progressive drawing. If you're a slot person, get your tail down there. 60 minutes off of I-90 in Rockford, Illinois.
The next 2.5 weeks when sportsbooks thrive with day college basketball. You got games tipping in a couple of minutes here. Noon, we got more conference tournaments. Great time to be at a sportsbook like down at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. When we come back, Riley Yauk is scheduled to appear on the Yingling Hotline from Badgers Pro Day. The cousin sub of the day producer for Wilde and Tausch, Riley Yauk, going to share what he's observing from Badgers Pro Day on behalf of ESPN Madison over there. We'll get to that coming up next. It's Jesse and Tausch on Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Badgers.
The coaches, the players, we're bringing an entire new mindset.
Because we're on Wisconsin Sports.
And it's to win. It's to win.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhoffels. Shop Steinhoffels, make it your own sale. Save 10% store-wide plus 5% more on $999 or more in-store and on Steinhoffels.com. Bring on the madness. Wisconsin men's hoops hoping to break its near-decade-long Sweet 16 drought. While late-season losses could affect tournament seeding, Ben Brust on why opponents shouldn't overlook Bucky's overall resume.
I would rather
rather have a team heading into March knowing that we beat Michigan, we beat Illinois on the road. Wait till we get to a neutral site. No one's going to want to see our two guards and be like, whew, I can't wait to play them. Episode 1 of March Mode, streaming on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Order today and get 0% interest until 2032 at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Upgrade now, pay no interest until 2032. Visit PellaWI.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut. Now, you know I've loved Pizza Hut going back to the days when I was a kid participating in their legendary Book It program. I loved it then, and I love enjoying Pizza Hut making new memories with my family now. And speaking of making memories, it's almost tournament time. With conference titles on the line and the countdown on to Selection Sunday, Pizza Hut is giving you a great chance to build your own starting five. Right now, get a large pizza for just $10 with up to 5 toppings. Your choice of crust, hand-tossed, thin and crispy, tavern, or pan. Carry out only, 5 toppings, $10. Now that's some tournament depth you can depend on. Feed good times with your starting five for just $10 at Pizza Hut. And remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
At Carbon World Health, feeling your best isn't a luxury, it's a lifestyle. From advanced aesthetics and rejuvenating med spa treatments to personalized wellness care, everything there is designed around you. Whether you're refreshing your look, boosting your confidence, or investing in total body wellness, Carbon World Health combines medical expertise with a spa-like experience you'll love. Discover the med spa Sun Prairie is talking about. Book your consultation today at Carbon World Health, where wellness meets results.
If you've been injured, let our team help get you back in the game. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Bucks. Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Brewers baseball is in the air.
And a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Would you like fries with that? 12 in a row for the crew.
Spring back into the baseball season on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers.
So a conflict for Tausch, because he is obviously doing the radio show here, Wilde and Tausch, Jesse and Tausch today. Jason will be back on Monday. Badger Pro Day's going on here in Madison. Yep. You are the Badgers radio network analyst.
That's what I heard.
Matt LePay on the play-by-play call on the radio broadcast throughout the season. So if this was at a different time, you would be at Badgers Pro Day.
Yeah, probably.
I would like to think you would be kind of milling about and just, checking out how everything's going, encouraging the guy. Hey,
I appreciate you thinking about what I should be doing.
You're a positive influence
in
people's lives.
Thank you for telling me that.
And since you couldn't go, we sent Riley Yauk. So joining us now on the Yuengling Hotline, the oldest brewery in America, now officially in Wisconsin, DG Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly. You know him as the cousin sub of the day producing here on Wilde and Tausch. He's also a big part of the Jump Around, our Badgers dedicated digital show on Thursdays on ESPN Madison. You know him for his love life, and you know him from the Saturday Scramble on ESPN Madison, Saturdays at 10 a.m. It's Riley Yauk joining us from Badgers Pro Day. What's up, Riley?
Not much. Great crowd on hand here for Wisconsin's Pro Day. I'm watching Bakos currently bank some kicks off the wall. He's kicking it straight over the net. He looks warm. He looks good. There was a bit of a late start here, so we're only getting into the vertical jump, which is the second workout of the day for these guys. So it's a little slower pace, but it's nice. It's fun.
All right. Well, I'm intrigued by a couple things. What are the Packer representatives? Is Gutekunst there? What do we have on that end? And would you say of the 32 NFL teams, how many are in attendance?
According to the Badgers Pro Day booklet, all 32 teams are represented.
That's good to hear. Okay.
And the for the Green Bay Packers are Joe Huber.
Love Hubes.
We got Dan Zegers.
Okay.
Correct me if that is wrong.
Okay.
Scouting coordinator. Then we have Milt Hendrickson.
Oh, Milt. Yep.
Yeah,
an old
Milt.
Raven. Yeah. He's an old Raven.
And last but certainly not least, Patrick Moore.
Okay.
Packers.
So very well represented by the G&G down here.
Yes. And they, from what I am seeing on my list, they have the most scouts here out of any team.
That would make sense. That would make sense. So there's a couple of things that Riley Mahlman, obviously not invited to the combine. I'm going to be very intrigued what his numbers look like because I think he's a good football player. He moves well. I'll be curious what his day looks like, and I know it's too early to get that. But Nizer Forkarine wasn't able to play last year. I think he is going to, I believe after today, his numbers and what he does are going to surprise people. And I would bet if he runs what I've been told, I've been doing a little bit of research, he runs what is expected, he is going to be on people's draft boards. I'm not sure where he's at right now, but those are kind of the two because the other guys, Reiger and Vinny, bowl games and was down at the combine. It's still an important day, but those two, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what they have to do today.
Yeah, I'm looking at Riley Mahlman right now. He is currently performing the broad jump, one of the first athletes to do the broad jump. I can't see from this distance. He just jumped. It looks like a good number. I couldn't tell you what it is from here.
Not going to get that analysis anywhere else, I can tell you. That was a pretty good jump. No idea what the number, but pretty good jump.
Nice jump.
I believe he had 22 on my unofficial count reps on the bench press, one behind Parker Peterson, who has the unofficial lead from what I saw at 23. Nick Levy, the long snapper, he's a stout dude, also repped out 23. Daryl Peterson, he's had a nice day so far. He had 22.
Oh, yeah. DP finished the season. DP, I'm going to tell you this right now. Somebody you want in your locker room. One of the best dudes. He has been through it here at Wisconsin, and the way he played this year, every game, I kept telling Matt, every game he made a play. He showed up every time he was out there, he would make a play. Excited to hear about what he has to do, too. I would love to see him make it in the NFL because I'm telling you what he's going to bring to that locker room is going to be something positive.
Yeah, that would not shock me whatsoever. His family, I believe just about every member except his brother Darren, who plays for Kansas, is here watching him today. So speak to the support system he has,
awesome.
which is really cool to see.
Riley, you've never been to a pro day before, right? This is your first time going?
Nope, definitely first time here.
So what are you excited about seeing? Like what's top of your list that you want to see how this all plays out today?
Yeah, I mean, this might be a little cliche. I want to see the 40-yard dash times. I just had Jackson Aker. I'm standing off to the side. He just sprinted past me. He's getting warmed up. He's getting loose, ready to go. Vinny Anthony, I've talked to him a ton throughout the past season. Really great dude. He's getting married soon. Really hope he has a good day today, can get drafted. So I'm excited to watch Vinny. Jaden Ballard just had a great vertical jump, which I believe 36 inches. It's pretty solid. So I'm just excited to be here. But Vinny Anthony, he's definitely top of my list as the guys I'm watching.
You're the best, Riley. 36 inches. I don't know. I think that's pretty good. It's good for me.
No, I looked it up.
Okay, a little research.
Take a look at the social media chat. I was looking at what
I don't have a 36-inch vertical. I
know I don't anymore, and I never did. So it's better than what I know. How's that broad jump, Riley?
Pretty good.
It looks long. I don't know, pretty good.
This is the best we got covering Pro Day. All right, Riley Yauk, thanks so much for joining us. keep us posted on everything going on at Badger Pro Day. We appreciate you tuning in for a couple of minutes here.
Anytime. Appreciate you guys. Giving you my best out here.
That's Riley.
That's good stuff. Nizer, I forgot about DP. I am a big DP fan. I think he is a special dude, and I really hope that he has a big day today because these days move the needle. I know people kind of poo-poo it. These days will move the needle for some of these guys.
Riley Yauk joining us on the Yingling Hotline. Did you have a pro day?
Yeah, I did.
How was it?
It was awesome. I just went I went to the Combine, and I was at I did 2 All-Star games, the Hula Bowl and the Shrine Bowl, because I just wanted to get out there as much as I could. And my pro day, I ended up running a lot better than I did at Indy. I ended up doing everything probably more than I needed to, but I was just, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. That was kind of the mentality I had.
We have a special guest coming up next.
We hope,
Is
yes.
That what I hear? Okay, I'm not going to spoil it. It's a surprise mystery guest that is.
No, you can spoil it. We want people to tune in, so spoil it.
Mike Sherman's going to call into the show.
Mike Sherman, obviously, I love Mike Sherman. He was my first coach in the NFL. Worked very closely, obviously, with Bob Harlan, and I don't know if he has had any comments about the passing of Bob yet, and he has graciously agreed to come on our show and share his feelings on Bob Harlan, who, again, very intimate relationship there, obviously, with the transition to GM and the head coach. So very intrigued to hear from my old ball coach.
As we celebrate the life and legacy of the great Bob Harlan, passing away yesterday at age 89, one of the guys that worked very closely with him during his tenure with the Green Bay Packers, Mike Sherman, scheduled to appear as we kick off the 11 o'clock hour in 2 minutes. Stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
What is up, Madison? I'm Hunter Vaughn. Your Sports Center update is brought to you by Ridgetop Exteriors, trusted and local experts providing the best quality roof, siding, windows, and doors. Expertly installed and at an affordable price. Get your free estimate today at ridgetopexteriors.com. It's a huge weekend of high school basketball in the Madison area, as it'll be Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania tonight, a boys regional semifinal. The 11 seed Madison West Regents travel to the 6th seed Oregon Panthers. You can join Riley Yauk and the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Sumrow, starting at 6:45, tip-off at 7 p.m., and you can hear that game right here on 100.5 ESPN Madison, or stream it for free on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Then on Saturday, it's a double header of high school basketball at 1 p.m. A trip to state on the line as the Milton Redhawks take on the Elkhorn Elks in a girls sectional final. Jesse Nelson and the Dean on the call for that one. And then at 7 p.m., a boys regional final. Madison Western Oregon taking on Verona and Sun Prairie West. Mike Sherman scheduled to appear next.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch. Jesse and Tausch today. The Music has
Good
disappeared.
music.
That's all right. We got Hunter doing a lot of things back there. Hunter's our cousin sub of the day producing the show. Cousin subs, we believe in
Do you think
better.
he has to hit 1 before he dials Coach Sherman's number?
Would you get off
No,
the
just curious.
landline thing?
Just curious.
He's probably going to dial 1. I always thought when you were dialing on a landline, if you're wondering why this came up, I don't really know either. Tausch asked it earlier. When you're dialing on a landline, I always thought if you were in an office or a school, you had to dial something to like get out of the school's internal thing or the business's internal thing. But if you're just at home on a landline, my dad still has a landline at home. Like he'll just call. You don't have to dial 1 or anything like that. So
fair enough.
We are honoring the life and legacy of the great Bob Harlan, if you're just joining us, passing away at age 89 yesterday, former Packers president and CEO. An outpouring of support, a lot of public statements from some legendary voices from around the NFL and the Green Bay Packers. We saw Mike McCarthy, Brian Gutekunst, Ed Policy, Roger Goodell, the commissioner, other teams from around the league, all weighing in on the impact that the great Bob Harlan had in his tenure as Packers president and CEO. And it is now our pleasure to be joined by Mark Tauscher's former head coach.
That's how he prefers to be announced. As he's my old
the Green Bay
coach.
Packers. He's been on the show before with Jason. I apologize that Jason's going to miss out on this today because this is an incredible honor to be joined today by former Green Bay Packers head coach Mike Sherman.
In fairness, Coach Sherman said he only had a few minutes, and if Wilde was here, and Coach Sherman knows this, it's 7 to 8 minutes every question that's asked. So we tried to keep this thing
We're
tight.
maximizing our time with Coach Sherman
Coach,
today. Yeah.
How are we today, Mike?
I'm doing fine, thanks. How you guys doing? You get some snow on the ground there?
No, it's all foggy and rainy and gloomy, and the snow's gone. And
60 degrees. We're wearing shorts today, Coach.
Really? Good deal. Good deal.
How's Cape Cod? Are you out in Cape Cod right now, or where are we at?
Yeah, you got to learn how to pronounce that. It's not Cape Cod. It's Cape Cod.
Cape Cod?
Cape Cod.
Oh,
yeah,
I heard it's very similar to Door County. Is that an accurate assessment?
To be honest with you, it is very similar in many ways. But Door County, there's something about Door County that I just fell in love with. It was just the people and the place. And we had a cottage up on Lake Michigan. I simply adored going to, and the few times I was able to get out there. But yeah, very similar. But I would actually take Door County. It's more relaxing in Door County. That's hustle bustle. Yeah.
All right.
Win for Door County.
So, Coach, we love catching up with you. Obviously, the news broke yesterday about someone that I know is very important to a lot of Packer fans, all Packer fans, and to you. And I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on Bob Harlan, both as the president of the Green Bay Packers and as a man, in your experiences with him.
Well, I'll tell you, during my time as head coach of the Packers, there were two legendary figures, and they possessing different roles within the organization. You know, one was Brett, a stellar play on the field, and the other was Bob Harlan, out in the community, connecting with fans. Both of those guys brought great success, in my mind, to the Packer organization with their great efforts. Bob's greatest strength probably was being Bob. Very approachable, whether it be the head coach, a fan, the cleanup crew. He always made time for people. I always respected that about him. Another thing about Bob, he was not afraid to make bold moves, and he had made many of them, moving out of Milwaukee, pushing hard for the stadium tax, redefining the Packer organization into two distinct groups, football and then everything else, and hiring Ron Wolf. That's just a few of them. There's tons of them. I was reading them last night, and the impact he's had has been overwhelming. What else? When I first got to work as a head coach of the Green Bay Packers back in 2000, Bob wasn't around the facility very much. He was usually out in the community, shaking hands, raising money for the renovation of the stadium. That was a huge step in getting the Packers into the highly competitive NFL market. Without his efforts way back then, I promise you that Lambeau Field would not be the truly iconic stadium it is today if it wasn't for Bob Harlan. I mean, he brought it to the forefront. Let me keep going.
Hey, you're rolling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike, how about just from a personal standpoint, when you got the job, he is, as you said, he's a great listener. We've had a lot of fans call in today and discuss kind of their moments with him. He answered his own phone calls. He just, and you used to always say this too, when we'd get on a bus, make sure you're respectful of the bus driver. That's just a quality that I think good human beings have, and it continued. And I think you illustrated that in your dealings with Bob too.
Yeah, we're going to talk to everybody. I read a lot of things. A lot of guys said some great things about Bob and about football, but he was more about family than anybody that I think I've ever met. His wife, his kids, his grandkids. I mean, he was all up, and the Green Bay Packers and the fans. But he was about family, especially with his wife Madeline. If I was at a banquet with him, with my wife and Madeline sitting down and Bob sitting there, you could just tell the charisma that the two of them had with each other. Yeah, I always thought that was special. I admired the love and respect he always demonstrated, and she returned it as well. But he was truly a great family guy, and I think that's what made him so special to the Packer fans, because a lot of Packer fans are great family guys and girls.
Former Green Bay Packers head coach Mike Sherman joining Wilde and Tausch on the Yuengling Hotline. Yuengling, the oldest brewery in America and now officially in Wisconsin. DG Yuengling and Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly. Coach, what were the leadership qualities that Bob Harlan exemplified that translated to you as a head coach and as a leader around football?
That's a great question. I would have to say his ability to know when to step in and when not to step in. Obviously, when we were there, the football was separate from the operations part and the marketing part and so forth and so on. And Bob let that run its course. And when he hired somebody, he expected them to do their job and do it to the best of their ability. And they usually did. But he was a very quiet leader. You wouldn't even hear a word out of him during the draft. He'd be sitting there on the side with some of the board members. And but after each draft pick, he'd go up and ask, "What was that about? Who is he? Do we like him? Of course we like him. We just took him, but do we like him?" And but he was very much in the corner and not at the forefront when we did the draft stuff. And but he still had an opinion and voiced that opinion if he thought it was necessary.
I think you brought up that separating it from the football side and the business side, and I guess last one for me, Coach, and just the overall. You mentioned the family man and everything else, but from a football standpoint, he did have opinions. How did that go when maybe the differing of opinions? He still let his football people, whether it was you or Ron, make those decisions, and then he would be on board with what you guys decided to do.
No question. You definitely don't want the president, having a different idea from what you have planned to have, and he let it all play out. He trusted who he hired, and he didn't second guess them, at least not in a public eye. Which obviously you don't need that. You need to come out of that draft with everybody on board, and whether he was on board or not on board, and I believe he was on board a lot. He wasn't voiceless. He still had a voice, and he demonstrated that on occasion when he wanted to ask certain questions. It was mainly when we had the draft. He would ask questions about this, that, and the other, and it just solidified who we took, and he liked that part of it, I believe.
Mike, do you think what do you think Jason would have asked you today? Because I'm not a journalist. I've just wondered. You've dealt with Wilde as much as almost anybody has. What do you think Jason would have asked you? And do you want to answer that question that you ask yourself, or we could just ask you, what are you up to now, and how's life up there in Cape Cod? Cape Cod?
Well, I'll go to the second one first. I moved off of Cape Cod. You didn't get the invitation.
No, I
to
missed
the
that.
homecoming.
I was going to help you move. I would have come up and helped you move.
We actually moved to Plymouth, and which, if you had past history in high school, you would know Plymouth is where it all started. But unfortunately,
history's hard, Coach. You know that.
There you go. Yeah, you're making history right now. But it's a neat town because it does have a lot of history, and they have Plymouth Rock there where the Pilgrims stepped off onto shore from that rock, and that rock was about 10 times its size years ago. Right now, it looks more on the pebble-ish side, but there's a lot of things to do here.
What's that called? Erosion? What is it called when those rocks get so? You're an old teacher.
Yeah, definitely. It's called erosion. There's a lot of erosion going on.
Plymouth
a lot of erosion going on in your head right now.
Oh, that's not very nice. It's fair. It's fair and accurate, but not very nice, Coach.
Where is Wildy, by the way?
A gymnastics meet.
He's got a gymnastics meet. His own, not his kids. He's got his own gymnastics meet that he's doing.
I thought he might have just stepped out to get a hot dog like he used to do in the old days. But
tell me more. What do you mean he stepped out? He stepped out to grab hot dogs. You mean before? Was it because you were answering a long-winded question, or what was the genesis of that?
I'm trying to think what it was. I remember one thing. I think we're in the stadium, and nothing special. But he, all of a sudden he'd disappear and come back with mustard on his face. So I mean, I just assumed he had a hot dog.
He's probably having a hot dog at the gymnastics meet. That's probably Well, Coach.
What is he doing? He's with his kids?
He's with his kids at a gymnastics meet. Yep. Good father that he
your
is.
Children doing? What about your children, Tausch? Tell me about them.
They're doing well. My son is playing hockey in high school. My daughter's in gymnastics as well. She did not have a meet. Her meets we schedule around the show, so I can continue to work. But
and school.
She also has school today. That's a great point, Jesse. So there's 6th grade and a freshman in high school, and time just keeps marching on.
It sure does. You got to hug them as many times as you can because you get to be my age, and you got grandchildren left, and you wish you could go back and fix some of your mistakes you made with your kids, but you can't. You just have to love them to death.
That's outstanding words of wisdom, Mike. We really appreciate you coming on, giving us your perspective on Bob, and catching up with you. We love you. You're one of the best, and we appreciate your time.
I appreciate you guys. Okay, thanks a lot. Have a good night.
You too.
Yeah, that was awesome. Mike Sherman, former head coach of the Green Bay Packers, worked with Bob Harlan for a number of years, sharing his insights after Bob Harlan passed away yesterday at 89 years old. We honor the life and legacy today of Bob Harlan on Wilde and Tausch. That was awesome.
Yeah, I think it's not surprising, and this is coming from a football coach that was relieved of his duties from the general manager duties from Bob Harlan. Obviously, I was not going to bring that up today, but it just shows you again that's a tough decision, and I think Mike accepted that, understood it, probably didn't like it, but you still have that reverence because I'm sure Bob did it in a the best way that you could in a bad situation, but it just continues to reiterate the love and adoration that people in the organization and obviously the fans outside have for Bob Harlan. He's going to be he is, as we said earlier in the show, a significant figure and one of the greats in the history of getting this Packers organization back to where it belongs.
I think, if nothing else, that is the best testament so far to Bob Harlan's life and legacy because Bob Harlan fired him. And Mike Sherman still joined us for 15 minutes and talked about all the great things and the great characteristics and the great man that Bob Harlan was. And probably one of the toughest days Mike Sherman's ever had was learning that he was fired as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers.
No doubt about it.
And he still joins us all these years later to talk about how great of a man he was. To me, that is as strong a testament as we've heard on how great Bob Harlan was as the president and CEO of the Green Bay Packers. And there have been a lot of great ones, no doubt about it. Mike Sherman joining us on the Yuengling Hotline. Yuengling now officially in Wisconsin, family-owned and operated for 6 generations. DG Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly. We thank former Green Bay Packers head coach Mike Sherman for for joining us here on Wilde and Tausch on the Yuengling Hotline. We are not done on the Yuengling Hotline. Dom Cotroneo, Brewers Extra Innings on 620 WTMJ, scheduled to appear about 10 minutes from right now. We're going to sneak in a quick rendition of Whoa Hunter coming up next before we're joined by Dom Cotroneo from Brewers Spring Training in Arizona. That's all straight ahead. Jesse and Tausch continue on Wilde and Tausch.
Is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
For over a century, one family has helped generations move forward. Christofferson Moving and Storage. They've built a legacy of trust celebrating 120 years in 2026 with transparent, upfront pricing, highly trained professional crews, and flexible services designed around you. They protect your home and belongings with expert care and clear communication every step of the way. Let them handle the heavy lifting so you can focus on what's next. Christofferson Moving and Storage. Your best move since 1906. Get your complimentary quote at ChristoffersonMoving.com.
Mark Schiefelbein here for Pizza Hut. You know I've loved Pizza Hut since I was a kid, and now I love making new memories enjoying it with my family today. For a limited time, Pizza Hut's Big New Yorker Pizza is just $10. An extra-large pizza with 6 huge foldable slices and bold New York-style flavor. Big size, big value, and just $10. Order right now on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com. Pizza Hut, feed good times. For a limited time, order a Big New Yorker Pizza for just $10. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Imagine the peace of mind knowing your home or business is safe 24/7. I'm Jeffrey Beckman, president of J&K Security Solutions, and we provide security you can trust. Serving Madison and southern Wisconsin, J&K Security Solutions offers state-of-the-art home and business security systems tailored to your needs. From video surveillance to home and business automation, to find out how J&K Security can help secure what matters most in your life, visit jksecurity.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Company built for Wisconsin, backed by expertise. From our family to yours, roofing, window, siding, gutters, and doors. Your solution-based company, community strong, and service that will please. Get a free estimate today. The Exteriors Company, built for Wisconsin, backed by expertise.
Beautiful day for Brewers baseball. Brats in one hand, your Brewers checking card from Associated Bank is in the other. And with a tap, it's 20% off gear at the Brewers team store. An express entry so you can tailgate longer. And up to 50% off home game tickets. All that power, all for the crew. Only with Brewers checking from Associated Bank. Join the crew at AssociatedBank.com/Brewers. Member FDIC.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Schiefelbein here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after. An in-depth recap of every Bucks game. In 6 minutes. No more? No less. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. If you missed any of the game or just want to relive the biggest moments, Bucks in 6 provides game recaps every morning after. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis or the deep threes from Miles Turner. And catch the comments post-game about what happened on the court. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. Find it now on Bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Wilde and Tausch, Jesse and Tausch today. Jason will be back on Monday attending a youth gymnastics tournament once again here on a Friday. Hunter Vaughn, our cousin sub of the day, producing the show. Cousin subs, we believe in better. We're going to do Whoa Hunter a little bit early today with Dom Catronio of Brewers Extra Innings on 620 WTMJ, scheduled to appear coming up next live from Arizona. So let's get to it. It's time for Whoa Hunter.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
Well, before I get to my topic today, we've got to pick the trivia winner for this week.
Sure, let's do that. Yeah, trivia winner.
It's been a long week. I don't even remember Monday. Like, February flew by. I got a hunch March is going to plod.
This week's winner is Andy in Oshkosh.
First time contestant, Andy in Oshkosh. Tuesday, I think he played.
Yeah, I don't know. Jesse's been moving the numbers all over
I got a
the
new
keep track
system,
of it.
and it's a little trickier, but that's what makes it fun. Right?
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
For him.
Congrats to Andy and Oshkosh, our Wilde and Tausch trivia winner, presented by Cousin Subs and Iron Jock. Good prize pack coming his way. All right, Hunter, what you got?
I was going to talk some Badger bracketology, but Tausch said something in the break.
Let's talk a little Badger bracketology.
No, we need to talk about what you said in the break.
Well, we can talk about that too, but where are we scheduled to be right now? If we lose to Purdue, where are we going to be?
Right now, they have the Badgers going out west to Portland as a 6th seed.
Who's they, Lenardi?
Yeah, ESPN.com. Whoever.
Lenardi's the one we trust.
Well, this was just the ESPN push notification. If that's Lenardi, then it's Lenardi.
So they're definitely going to play Thursday now, right? That's almost certain. There's a couple of things that have to go, but Michigan State winning last night makes me believe they're not getting the double bye, just the single bye, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not going to get the double bye to Friday. They're going to get they're going to play Thursday.
Right. So we'd have the Badgers as a 6th seed playing in Portland, taking on the 11 seed Texas Longhorns. The winner would play either 3 seed Gonzaga or 14 seed UC Irvine.
Gonzaga and Portland, I don't like our chances there.
Tough. It's always tough to go on the road. All right. Good bracketology. What do you want to talk about?
During the break...
Whoa, Nelly!
Tausch mentioned you saw an ad on one of the TVs for a TV show.
Yeah, you got Jesse's not even doing the show; he's watching TV.
I'm trying to get our conference tournament games on here.
on there, and Tausch, you said that show sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
I watched the first season.
I did
but I'm
watch
invested,
the full season.
so now I'm going to watch the second season.
That is correct. Well, I want to see how it plays out.
So then the show doesn't suck if you're interested in the story.
Oh, I disagree. There's plenty of things that you'll do just because you want to finish.
No,
if
I don't like a show, I'm not watching
You can punt on the show and just get... There are plenty of shows that we've started and got multiple episodes into, and then we just sit back and say, you know what? I don't care how this ends.
Yep, I watched the first 20 minutes of the show You on Netflix. Hated it. Haven't watched
but that's
it since.
not 20 minutes. That's I think there's 7 or 8
I watched
episodes.
the first season of Orange is the New Black. Hated it.
Okay.
Haven't watched any of it.
Okay. Yeah, I have a different mentality. I want to see it through. So I'm going to see it through.
Sometimes, because there will be shows that I like that Becca doesn't like, or she'll fall asleep.
They gave a
during
good
them.
cliffhanger. If you don't cliffhang...
Well, every series does a cliffhanger.
You got to watch
now.
Paradise then. That show is cliffhanger
Yeah,
what's
after
that about?
cliffhanger.
You would love
it's
it.
good.
That's on Hulu.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
a good
I
one.
think we have Hulu.
Second season just coming out now. They're doing a new
Paradise.
episode every week, like
All right.
traditional TV.
Now you're helping me.
Paradise
Okay,
is very good. Yeah. How do they summarize Paradise? It starts with a presidential assassination, and then there's a big twist at the end of the first episode that really propels the rest of the show forward.
Yep. And then
Love a
it's
good
like
propeller.
every episode they end it with some twist or is this about to happen? So then you get pulled
The
into
only
that
problem
next
is the
one.
last time Jesse is that one show where you could watch it in any order.
Yeah, Kaleidoscope on Netflix, a great heist show.
Yeah, that was another one. I watched an episode of that.
Not
Didn't
I
like it.
love that show.
Not
I was
great.
going to rewatch that soon.
Okay. I'm going to watch Pluribus again. I'll watch the
So
second
you
season.
hate
So it
the show,
doesn't
but
suck.
you're going to watch it.
No, it sucks, but I'm going to watch it.
Because don't waste your time, Tausch.
I
You're a busy
understand
guy.
I understand where you're coming from, but I'm going to probably watch it.
Ridiculous.
Whoa,
That's what I've got today, so we can get to Dom here.
All right, that's it for Whoa Hunter. Thanks to Hunter Vaughn stepping in as our cousin sub of the day, producing today's show. Cousin subs, we believe in better. Another opportunity before we get to Dom Catronio of Brewers Extra Innings for Tausch to tell us about Steinhafels.
Oh, indeed. Why settle for furniture that looks like everybody else's? Well, during Steinhafels' Make It Your Own event, you're in control. Choose the fabric, pick the finish, customize the details so it fits your style, not somebody else's. Right now, take at least 10% off store-wide. When you spend $9.99 or more, you get an extra 5% off, including special order. Need a designer's touch? Well, save up to $200 on Steinhafels Decorating Solutions package. Make it yours today in-store or at steinhafels.com. Relax. It's Steinhafels.
In the YouTube comments, they asked us earlier this week, can we have a Brewers guest on so we can please talk some Brewers baseball with spring training in full swing and the World Baseball Classic starting this week? So for those of you in the YouTube who say we ignore you, consider yourselves acknowledged. Dom Catronio, Brewers Extra Innings of 620 WTMJ, live from spring training, next on Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here, and your seat at the table just got better at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Return to Hard Rock Casino Rockford's high-limit room, where the odds are in your favor. With enhanced game rules, including blackjack, where the dealer stands on soft 17, you'll enjoy better odds, faster play, and the kind of authentic high-limit action that sets Hard Rock Casino Rockford apart. Visit the high-limit room and rediscover your game on your terms, in your rhythm, and with your edge at Hard Rock Casino Rockford.
Wisconsin weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2026.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Hi, it's Eric with Canopy Wealth Management. Taxes are intricate, and even smart savers can unknowingly work against themselves without a clear tax strategy. At Canopy, we help you assess your options and you make more intentional decisions with your money. Small adjustments today can lead to meaningful differences in your long-term financial future. At Canopy Wealth Management, care, competence, clarity is not just a tagline, it's our promise. Get started today at canopy-wealth.com.
Paid for by Canopy Wealth Management. Canopy Wealth Management is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hurt by a truck? Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN. Staying on Wisconsin sports never stops with the Jump Around podcast.
This isn't a knock on Johnny Davis or John Tonje, but you can tell not only is Nick Boyd, as you said, Riley, ready to rise to the occasion, but he's making other guys better. He can help create shots for John Blackwell. He can help create penetration. He makes guys better.
The Jump Around podcast with Jim Rutledge and Pablo Iglesias. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions. Streaming live every Thursday at 12:30 on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
As a mom, I'm glad my son plays school sports. It's where he has fun with his friends. He contributes to the team. Oh, and he stays out of trouble.
Support your school's athletic programs. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
From yesterday, the Milwaukee Brewers will open up the season against the Chicago White Sox on opening day. It's one of the fun things about March. You get, obviously, the college basketball tournaments, NFL free agency, all the fun stuff going on, including spring training out in Arizona. And joining us now on the Yuengling hotline, Yuengling, the oldest brewery in America and now officially in Wisconsin, DG Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly. Live from Arizona at Brewers spring training, the host of Brewers Extra Innings on 620 WTMJ. Our new Brewers friend who joined us several times throughout the season last year, Dom Catronio, on the Yuengling hotline from spring training in sunshiny Arizona. Dom, pleasure to have you join us here on Wilde and Tausch. It's Jesse and Tausch today. How you doing out in Arizona?
Trying to send some sunshine your way, boys. It is another absolutely perfect day down here.
Dom, it ain't working. It's foggy. It's misting. It's miserable. So maybe next week. Maybe it just takes a while with that time difference. So we'll get that up here.
And then we get really complicated when everyone else does daylight savings time on Sunday and we don't. So we'll suddenly be 2 hours.
I forgot about that. I wasn't going to bring that up because Tausch is already fed up about daylight savings time and how he gets confused with all the different ones and where it is and isn't. And Dom, we actually were confused talking with each other this morning, coordinating
just
his appearance on when he was going to hop on.
And as he put it, it's the same as like an indie. Some parts of it do, some parts of it don't. Oh, Dom, we're not going to break down. We don't get enough Brewers talk on this show. We're not going to break down time change. Give us your big takeaways so far from your time down at training camp.
The biggest takeaway for me on this team is they're just as good, if not better, than they were breaking camp last year. And I know there's a lot of reaction and a lot of fear about the unknowns on this club. And trading Freddie Peralta and trading Caleb Durbin, I understand where that concern comes from. But when I sit down and look at the depth chart comparing whatever they break with this year versus last year, I just think it's going to be as good, if definitely not worse. I think that's the most important thing to say, because 97 wins is a really hard ask, but I still see a club that should be strongly considered to win the Central Division.
Like hearing that.
That's very positive.
Dom, I've said that Freddie Peralta is the Matt LaFleur of the Brewers rotation, where he's great in the regular season. You get to the playoffs, and it seems like something always happened to go wrong. So while I'm disappointed that Freddie Peralta, the guy, is gone and that the team in the regular season won't be as good without him, I do feel like they have a true ace in the Miz now coming out here this season. Is he going to be the opening day starter, and how's he looking off the heels of such a fantastic finish in the postseason last year?
If I had to guess right now who the opening day starter is, I'd lean Miz because of all the question marks with Quinn Priester and with Brandon Woodruff. There's differences in Woody and Priester. I'll get to that later. But for Miz in particular, this is going to be a guy that they're going to ask a lot out of him. And they need more than 150 innings out of him. He's going to be developed and kind of, let loose a little bit. Like, hey, learn to become a pitcher now. Learn to become what it takes to throw every fifth day, what it takes that, hey, just because you have 102 doesn't mean you need to use 102 all the time. What else do you have? Can you refine your slider? Can you refine your curveball? Can you be somebody that pitches? Because the best games that he pitched in last year were the games that he quote-unquote mixed and pitched and was able to show off his entire repertoire. Because big league hitters are so tuned into velocity, it's not an anomaly to see 100 miles an hour anymore. And if you're only throwing 100, guys are going to tag you, which is kind of what we saw in August and September. But then in the postseason, when he was able to slash the curveball and the slider, even that great start against the Dodgers back in July, he was mixing things up. So that's what's most important for Miz, to make sure that he is going to be a guy that the Brewers really lean on heavily this season.
Have you seen some improvements in that throughout spring training so far?
His first outing was against Team Great Britain on Tuesday. It wasn't the prettiest with the breaking stuff. I mean, the velo was fine. There was nothing to worry about there. And it's also, the first week of March, guys continue to build up. And when you get an actual crowd around you, adrenaline helps out with that sort of thing. But he did hint in talking to Chris Hook, pitching coach of the Brewers, that they are working on a little bit of an adjustment to his slider and trying to make sure that it becomes something that he can control. Maybe it's a little bit bigger break, because the current slider he throws in the baseball world, we call it a cutter. Even though he calls it a slider, it really behaves like a cutter. So you want something that actually breaks a little bit more and gets guys off of his velocity that he has.
Left side of the infield, how is that shaking out?
I think it's pretty set with Joey Ortiz at short, Luis Rengifo / David Hamilton at third. The Brewers are in a position where, because they have so much talent heading to AAA this season, that kind of like what they did last year. This is where my take comes in about the opening day roster and what they're going to look like this year compared to last. I mean, we all have to remember, and this is the truth. And the fact of the matter is the Brewers broke camp with Vinny Capper and Oliver Dunn at third base last year, and they still won 97 games. And I'm not trying to, diss the guys, but the truth of the matter is they both got DFA'd in the middle of the year. And the Brewers now have Luis Rengifo, who they're banking on as a bounce back candidate. And I think he's a very good candidate to do that. And then if that doesn't work, they've got a dynamic utility player in David Hamilton. And if that doesn't work out, Brock Wilken could be hitting in AAA, or even Jet Williams could be coming up in AAA. I mean, the depth that they have ready to go, it was just Caleb Durbin last year, and then he eventually came up at the end of April. Whereas this year, there are more options and more guys to look at and to apply pressure to say, hey, if this isn't working out at the big league level, there's somebody ready to go in the next level.
Joined by Dom Cotroneo, host of Brewers Extra Innings on 620 WTMJ from spring training in Arizona. He joins us on the Yuengling hotline. Yuengling now officially in Wisconsin. Family owned and operated for 6 generations. DG Yuengling and Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly. I saw a tweet here from Adam McCalvey this morning. I saw the word X-ray and Jackson Chourio in the same sentence. I didn't like that. What's up there?
He was hit in the left hand, by a pitch yesterday with Team Venezuela. They were in an exhibition yesterday. He's okay. X-rays were negative. It's a contusion. He's going to sit out today's opener of the WBC. They're playing, I believe, the Kingdom of the Netherlands today, and then I forget who they play tomorrow. I think Israel tomorrow. And the expectation is that Chourio will be fine and he'll be back in there tomorrow. So no breaks. Everything's okay. Chourio wants to be in there. Look, I know people are always afraid of their players going to the WBC. Oh, what if they get injured? A hit by pitch can happen anywhere. A hit by pitch can happen here in spring training, on the backfields even. Like, we've seen that in the last couple of years. But Chourio is going to be fine, which is great news. Expect to see him in the lineup for Team Venezuela tomorrow.
It seems like there's more excitement this year from fans around the World Baseball Classic than I've ever heard before going into it. Is it the same for the players? Does it seem like there's just more recognition, or that this is just like a bigger deal this time around? It just feels that way to me.
I give kudos to Team USA of understanding that they're the ones who have to raise the banner, because you don't have to convince Japan to watch. You don't have to convince Korea, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Venezuela. You don't have to convince those markets to watch. They're going to watch. They're going to be locked in, and they're going to love it. I mean, look at what the Latin games will be this weekend in Miami when Venezuela or the DR plays. It's going to be packed out. It's going to be incredible. The problem has always been USA kind of having this apoplectic, if we only had our best guys here, we'd win this Well, now they finally got their best guys here. And I look at Aaron Judge, I look at Paul Skeens as being, sort of the flag bearers of, no, we want to represent the country the right way. We're sick of this narrative that the USA doesn't care about baseball. They've only won one of these World Baseball Classics since 2006. So the Brewers in it, with being Bryce Terang being on Team USA, gives that connection of why I think maybe you're getting a little bit more excitement for it. And the Brewers have 9 players in big league camp participating in the WBC. So that's exciting for those guys in their young careers. But I think the fact that Bryce got named to Team USA in December is certainly helping, and he's going to be a massive factor for the red, white, and blue coming up in this tournament starting today.
Yeah, looking forward to watching that. Dom Cotroneo joining us from spring training in Arizona, host of Brewers Extra Innings on 620 WTMJ. He joins us on the Yingling hotline. Let's go back to the rotation. You had mentioned that before, because last year there were a bunch of injuries, and it felt like it took a while, really all season, to kind of get a solidified starting rotation. Is that different this year? Does it feel like we kind of know who the 5 for the most part are going to be?
It's more than 5, and I think that's why I'm most excited about this team compared to last year. I mean, after Freddie started opening day, you had Nestor Cortez, Aaron Savali, Elvin Rodriguez, and then big league debut of Chad Patrick, right? That's completely different than what they're going to be rolling out with this year, where you've got Miz, you've got Chad Patrick, who proved himself exceptionally well last season. You've got a healthy Logan Henderson in this mix. You've got Brandon Sproat, who was acquired in the Mets deal. You've got Shane Jerome, who was acquired in the Red Sox deal. You've got Kyle Harrison, who was acquired. You have got so much talent, quite frankly, more talent breaking camp this year as opposed to last year, specifically on the pitching side, even if there are injuries, right? I think that last year we talked about depth, and Tobias getting hurt in the middle of spring training kind of set his whole season off the rails. And then you knew Woody wasn't going to be available, but Woody's not really that delayed this spring training compared to last. So that's good news for Woody. And then furthermore, if you have to replace Quinn Priester for a couple of starts, you've got the depth to do so with big league ready talent, not prove it, let's see what this guy does, stopgap talent, if you get what I'm saying.
Last one for you. Dom Catronio, Brewers Extra Innings, 620 WTMJ. What is the most important thing that we should watch for at Brewers spring training from now until opening day on March 27th? What's top of your list?
The top of my list is just health, because there really aren't position battles. I think we know the position roster coming out of spring training. They're not going to be 3 catchers. It's going to be Gary Sanchez as the backup catcher. It's going to be Vaughn and Bowers at first, Turang at second, Ortiz at short. We just mentioned Hamilton and Rengifo. The outfield, I think, is pretty safe to say is going to be Churio in left with healthy, Garrett Mitchell in center, Sal Frelick in right, Blake Perkins as your 4th outfielder, and Christian Yelich as your DH. I think there are any questions there, assuming health. Now, you could figure out how it's all going to shake out with the starting rotation for the bullpen. Like, is Ashby only in the bullpen? Is Hall only in the bullpen? And then are any of these guys that are newcomers going to be in the starting rotation? But it's health. I think the Brewers have so many fewer questions than other teams time of year because, again, I still believe that this club should be the favorite to win the NL Central.
A bonus round question from my dad. This is very important. He lives in Muskego. What channel are the games going to be on?
Oh, God.
If I knew the answer to that, I don't know if I'd be talking to you guys, honestly. I mean, that's way above my pay grade.
I think the big answer is 620 WTMJ, right, Dom? Isn't that what
yeah,
you should be
that's
doing?
exactly what I was going to say, Tausch. That all the games are aired on radio, by the way, but the negotiations are all handled by Major League Baseball. So whenever you have these carriers and wanted to, dip into the toes, the prices change based on how many you're getting. It's really complicated stuff, but this isn't a Brewers issue. This is a Major League Baseball issue. So they're trying to package it up for all of these carriers across the country. The Brewers weren't the only ones that switched to the MLB model this year. So that will be announced before opening day. I can absolutely promise you that, but just not there yet.
All right, I'm going to call you every day and ask so I can tell my dad when we find out what channel they're
Dom,
going to be
it's a lot easier. Just block Jesse's number on your phone.
414.
Yeah. Bing. Yep, exactly. Appreciate you, Dom. Have fun down there the rest of your time down in Arizona.
Thanks, guys.
Dom Catronio, Brewers Extra Innings on 620 WTMJ after every game all season long. Milwaukee Brewers,
Boy, you got to be excited. Listening to Dom. Dom calls it straight now. He doesn't blow smoke. When he said they're going to be better, everybody's thinking, what? What? Okay, we shall see. But that's exciting to hear that he's down there. What have they been, 2 or 3 weeks in?
Couple of weeks
in camp
now,
already.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's good to hear.
Feeling pretty good. Better than they looked at this point last year, he said in camp. So that's exciting. A lot of things set this year. Feels pretty good. Getting set for Brewer season 3 weeks from yesterday, opening day at American Family Field against the Chicago White Sox. Thanks again to Dom for joining us. Speaking of joining us, here's something fun you can join for. I'm going to do this better than Jason, I hope. A limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, son of a gun. Woo!
Yeah. Pretty good. But definitely better in the beginning, no doubt.
Ric Flair coming to Milwaukee March 27th at the Riverside Theater. Thanasis Antetokounmpo hosts Thanalysis Live with the WWE Hall of Famer and global icon himself. Not a cameo, not a 5-minute interview, a full live show. High energy, unfiltered storytelling, behind-the-scenes moments you'll never forget. And if you know Thanasis, you know he's bringing the juice. The energy, the laughs, the surprises. And when Ric Flair grabs a mic, anything can happen. Tickets are limited. Don't wait. Book them now. Lock your tickets in taliveshow.com. That's taliveshow.com. Thanalysis Live, March 27th at the Riverside Theater, presented by Gruber Law Offices and Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Woo! Feel Good Friday, painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints to close out the week. Next on Wilde and Tausch.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Bruner Realty, providing excellent real estate and property management services in the Madison area for over 30 years. Contact their team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to get housed today. Wisconsin men's hoops hoping to break its near decade-long Sweet 16 drought. While late-season losses could affect tournament seeding, Ben Brust on why opponents shouldn't overlook Bucky's overall resume.
I would rather have a team heading into March knowing that we beat Michigan, we beat Illinois on the road. Wait till we get to a neutral site. No one's going to want to see our two guards and be like, whew, I can't wait to play them.
Episode 1 of March Mode, streaming on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Order today and get 0% interest until 2032 at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Upgrade now, pay no interest until 2032. Visit PellaWI.com.
Mark Toscher here for Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie. Zimbrick Chevrolet is truly the name you can trust. But you know what you can't trust? Wisconsin's winter weather. Just when you think we've almost made it to the end of the Wisconsin winter, think again. If you've been putting off some routine vehicle maintenance, hoping to get to the end of winter, stop being so foolish. Check the battery, change the oil, and it might even be time for some new tires so you don't end up slipping and sliding before winter comes to an end. Stop on into Main Street in Sun Prairie or log on to ZimbrickChevrolet.com to check out the amazing service team at Zimbrick Chevy and how they can help you and your vehicle make it to spring. Take my word for it. Check them out. The service team at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. The name you can trust.
As a mom, I'm glad my son plays school sports. It's where he has fun with his friends. He contributes to the team. Oh, and he stays out of trouble.
Support your school's athletic programs. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Spring is here, and living with your old, drafty, foggy, dirty, hard-to-open, bad windows is no longer an option. You deserve better windows and doors. At Siding Unlimited, we install top-of-the-line wood, vinyl, and fiberglass windows with options to fit your style, color, and design choices. Built for energy efficiency, installed by our professional craftsmen at Siding Unlimited. Siding Unlimited. Experience, integrity, craftsmanship. Visit sidingunlimited.com today.
Hi, I'm John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers. It's hard to imagine, but Goodman's has been the diamond store of Madison since 1933, which means your parents, maybe even your grandparents might have shopped with us. We maintain the same high standards, honesty, and integrity that kept them coming back time and again. Keep their history and our history alive. Shop Goodman's Jewelers today in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. We're online at goodmansjewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
Mark Toscher here, and you know I love a smart play from the pocket. That's why I joined UW Credit Union. With their mobile banking app, I can make smart plays from anywhere. And with rewards checking perks like early payday, I score my money sooner. Stop by any of their local branches or visit uwcu.org to join and make the smart play by becoming a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCUA, terms and conditions apply. Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
You gotta get down on Friday. It's time to finish the week off right. It's Feel Good Friday on Wilde and Tausch, painted by Hallman Lindsay.
Jesse and Tausch on Wilde and Tausch. Before we get to Feel Good Friday, painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints, heading into the weekend, Tausch, you want to be pretty active this weekend on Prize Picks.
Indeed, you do. March Hoops are here. We're watching a bunch of the games in studio here. One of the best times of the year to be watching sports, and it's the best time of the year to download Prize Picks. You use that code WI, you get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code WI, and suddenly every dunk, every three, every big performance matters more. It's simple to play, more or less, 2 to 6 player stat projections. Again, best time of the year. All these sports going on, of course. You got March Madness, all of the fun stuff brewing. Download that app again, Prize Picks app. Use code WI to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup.
A lot of ground covered on today's show. Some powerful stuff. Head coach Mike Sherman of the Green Bay Packers joined us. Dom Catronio from Brewers Spring Training. Riley Yauk over at Badgers Pro Day. All kinds of stuff.
Ben Barton, 33 reps on the bench.
What we hear.
Let's go.
Big day. A lot of stuff going on around the state and around the country. And Tausch, it is Feel Good Friday, painted by Hallman.
It is, and I knew this was going to be my Feel Good Friday when I saw it at the Kohl Center on Wednesday night. The Isaac guard, Greg guard, goes out, drains a three. It was, I think, for everybody there, it was a really moving experience. Greg's been around forever. They've grown, Isaac growing up in that building, and to be able to have that moment, all of us as parents, man, we live for that. That is awesome. It made me feel good. It made the entire Kohl Center feel good. That was the easiest Feel Good Friday we've had because, man, it made a lot of people feel good. Congratulations to both the guards, the entire guard family, but just a really cool deal at the Kohl Center Wednesday night.
That's a great one. Of course, also feeling good about all the great stories that we've heard throughout the course of the show today, honoring the life and legacy of the great Bob Harlan, former Packers president and CEO, passing away yesterday at the age of 89. Thanks to everyone who has shared their stories of their interactions with Bob Harlan over the years. Thanks to Hunter as our cousin sub of the day producing today. Jason will be back on Monday. Rich Eisen show's coming up next. As Jason always says, have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are